Come on, let's go. Right?
If my dad and I hadn't been here, none of this would have happened.
These two are fighting and ideas are banging around in Bella's head.
Now I'm picking up the sword calmly.
It's like the worst horror movie ever. The whole mansion's possessed.
Gabby can never unsee that.
You heard it up top. We are back once more. It's been 10 episodes. That means another Whatcha, where we sit down and we don't clown because we talk. What we've been enjoying. We do our little pop culture breakdown, what we've been watching, what we've been listening to, what we've been playing, what we've been enjoying here on Normies Like Us with your hosts, Colin.
I just Mike.
And Jacob.
Wow.
290.
290. Wow, we're 10 away from
I'm getting scared.
Number, right?
From watching Gerard Butler.
Oh,
that's
this
right.
Zack
Snyder's masterpiece.
The only idea that we have.
That's it.
Wait, and will part 2, The Scargiver, come out by then too?
Oh my God.
We're
Zack
10
Snyder
days
double
away from
feature.
that. Let's
Man.
do.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start doing in these up top segments on our Whatcha little previews of what the future episodes, because that's a good idea to like answer questions of like, will we do another Rebel Moon? Will we do a part 2 Rebel Moon episode? We don't know yet. We probably haven't decided on that yet,
think
right?
if it comes on my screen and I watch it, I'll need to talk to somebody. Like just
if one of you texts me like you won't believe what happened, odds are we will do an episode on it.
Name 2 characters' names from that movie.
Impossible. The Scargiver.
The Child of Fire. Yes. All right, we did
and
it.
Robot Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins robot. Yeah.
And Jimmy.
Right.
Of course,
Jimmy.
The racist term for a robot.
He shoots a gun and then runs away for the whole movie.
That's right.
That's right.
Have you guys seen the trailer for that at all?
No.
It just looks like Seven Samurai, the sci-fi version. They're going to be defending that town or whatever, so I'm excited for it.
I'm sure it's going to have good cinematography, or at least interesting imagery. Speaking of interesting imagery, you guys see the eclipse today? We're recording on Eclipse Day, everybody. April 8th, 2024, for the aliens that listen to this in the future.
I didn't see it. I knew it was happening because my cat started talking and saying, repent, repent. That is, that seemed to be some sort of activation.
Yeah. To be honest, we didn't have the best view of it here in LA. But I know, so I have some family in Ohio, and specifically my brother who actually lives in Arizona, but he traveled to Ohio just for this, and he was there, my dad was there, my sister was there, so they got a good view of it over in Ohio.
Yeah, my parents as well. They showed a photo and like the map of its trajectory. It was like, covering Ohio. So a lot of the hotels were sold out and everything. A lot of people traveled for it. So.
And I think they drove up to Cleveland for it because my dad lives in Canton, Ohio, so my brother was staying there. They took the drive up north to the great city of Cleveland and checked it out.
Oh yeah, that's
total coverage there.
Yeah. I think they speak Cantonese over in that part of Ohio too. My cousin was at the Cleveland Guardians baseball game when the eclipse happened in the middle of plays, which is kind of interesting.
The guards. Love the guards.
Weird.
You know?
Weird.
So hopefully everyone survived the eclipse and earthquakes, and the Earth is settling down. I think we'll make it to the 300th episode, I believe. So,
Here's hope.
Yeah, I have a personal note I want to mention because I put it on social media, but I like Taco Bell, right? I'm a fan. I used to work there, right? And they did a crossover boiler suit jumpsuit with this brand called Wild Fang, and I impulse bought this Taco Bell crossover jumpsuit that I'm wearing, and I've now I think entered my boiler suit era. Yeah,
that's
amazing. I'm so jealous. That's incredible.
You look like you could be on the crew of of Taco Bell ship. Space
I would.
Yeah.
But so now I'm considering getting the Enterprise one too. Captain Archer.
Yes.
So anyway, that's really cool. But I wanted to shout out Wild Fang because they do like a bunch of like gender neutral clothing to do jumpsuits, all kinds of activewear, whatever. But they donate to charity, so they do 1%. This time they're doing the Trevor Project, shout out, and they're certified carbon neutral. So I got this because I like Taco Bell, but it turned out they're also an ethical company. So it's a win-win. Go to Wild Fang. It's not sponsored, but if you want a Taco Bell jumpsuit, they still got a couple, it seems.
Boy, eclipse, earthquakes, natural disasters going on. Furiosa's about to come out.
This has so many
Mike
pockets.
is wearing
yeah.
jumpsuits. Doesn't it feel like the world's about to end? We're not making it to 300.
That's why I'm in this. Yeah, but they measured
That'd be a good post-apocalyptic outfit too, that you
Yes.
could just wear every day.
I got everything I need with me, right? They measured all the pockets to fit certain menu items, which I think is funny.
You put your
it's
cheesy
like a Crunchwrap size pocket.
Okay, yeah.
We're so close to Mike just showing up with like a robot hand. We're like 5 episodes away from that.
I'm just gonna be in
That's
Japan
amazing.
pulling stuff out of my pockets. It's gonna be crazy, but yeah. So that's a personal update for me. I'm in my jumpsuit era, I think.
I love it, dog.
Yeah, it's cool. But speaking of jumping, I'm in a suit for it. Do we want to just jump into this thing and kind of get into what we've been watching, playing, and all that? Oh, teaser though. Special segment, Jacob. What do we have?
Oh, well, we have a special segment coming up at the end of this podcast. We're going to do a little draft, a little movie draft. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're each going to draft some movies and compare who has the better roster at the end. So that's going to be pretty fun too.
That's
so
right.
A new thing for
Very
290.
exciting.
Yep. All right, let's do it. Catch you over there, listeners.
So
I'm
I think you guys
regretting
say
not
boiler
having
suit,
one.
not jumpsuit.
I don't know.
I said jumpsuit.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, you
know if
worked
it's
in
different.
because it's like industrial. People would work in like the boiler room and stuff. So it's just tomato potato. But we're back. You know,
Those people would jump with
We're
them
back.
too, Mike.
there's an apparatus for the red ones. I hear. You end up face down.
That's
a little emo joke.
what was the song, Mike?
That's right. That's right.
Face down.
But what
Face
were
down
the
and
what were the
down.
lyrics?
It was
Yeah,
do you
this
feel like a
doesn't
man when you
hurt.
push her
You won't-
around? Do
Yeah,
you
it
we
feel
was
won't
about
the
hear
domestic
it
violence.
again. Yeah,
It's basically- yeah.
absolutely. It's always
Listen,
Yeah.
the fact about that band, the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, I saw them at Warped Tour once.
You
and I thought
did
they
not.
were terrible live, but
I saw them in Florida and they were good.
maybe it was a bad show, or I just
Team
have bad taste.
Red jumpsuit apparatus. That is
Yeah,
that is incredible.
I think I got to buy a red one now.
Yeah,
Just
you
for
should.
the memes. Anyway. So watching concerts, watching
We're
TV,
back.
watching movies. What are we doing?
That's
We've got
right.
a little boiler suit banter going on, but that's okay.
That's right.
We're keeping it loose here on episode 290.
yeah.
But yeah, what
Yeah,
are we
let's kick this
watching?
thing
What are we
off.
watching, boys?
Here's what I want to kick it off with, because I think this is our easiest intro. Because
Mhm.
typically in the past we've done a Norm Academy's Norm Awards episode where
True.
we kind of break
Yes.
down the Academy Awards or whatever. But this is our good entry point of like, Jacob, I know you've been watching a shit ton of stuff. Were you finishing up some Oscar stuff that you missed at all?
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, because we did our top 10 movies of 2023 episode in January, our first episode in January, and we always like to do that like coming back from the new year, but I don't always get a chance to see everything that I want to see by then because some things they're not available on streaming or whatever. So I'm slowly catching up on some of the movies that I missed that didn't make the list because I didn't see them, but are now available on streaming. So I call it my new release roundup. I've seen a bunch of I'll just rattle them off, and if you want to hear about it, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Since that list, I've seen Poor Things, Anatomy of a Fall, The Zone of Interest, Maestro, Wonka, Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom, of course, and
Shouldn't have found
The
it.
Creator.
Should've stayed lost.
Best picture.
We should call it The Lost Empire. Am I right? Because
Oh, we need all more empires. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched The Creator. Colin, did you catch The Creator?
I have seen The Creator as well.
All right.
that's got a Godzilla tie-in, of course. Gareth Edwards,
That's right. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll touch
the
on that.
director.
Yeah. I've
Well,
just
and
been
Let
watching
Them
the same
Fight guy,
stuff.
of course.
Yes. Oh yeah. Look at that.
Ken Watanabe.
And
Yeah.
Watanabe as a half robot or whatever he is.
That's
in,
right,
The
yeah.
Creator.
He says goodbye, my friend, in King of the
That's right.
Monsters when he feeds Godzilla a nuke to wake him up.
So Gareth Edwards.
Every time you remind me of what happens in those films.
Yeah,
yes,
remember the
please.
plots.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when this movie was coming out, they were marketing. They're like, it's going to be an original sci-fi. We don't get that many original sci-fi IP, and so we really have to, go out and watch them when they come out, so that they make more of them. Unfortunately, the ones that we've gotten recently, not very good, because we got,
Yeah.
of course, The Scargiver,
Yeah.
and we got this. So those
Yeah.
are like the two that I can think of recently that are big sci-fi projects that have come out, the original not
Yeah.
based on anything, you know.
Yeah, my take with that is because I recently rewatched like all the District 9, like all those movies from that director.
Yeah, same.
And like
same.
those were really cool, like that, except for Chappie. But like Elysium and stuff, I like that. But this movie has like a cool premise. It has a great look, but it's just
Yes.
executed poorly, I feel. Like I like the way the world looks mostly, you know, the design.
Yes, I agree with you
Big
on
tanks
that. I
with
thought
Japanese text. I don't know. I buy it.
no, I love the locations, the world, the way the world looked. The cinematography was really good, and I know
Mhm.
they used a lot of real locations, like in like the
Southeast Asian stuff.
Philippines or
Yep.
different Southeast Asian places.
Now,
Yeah,
can I guess what your issue with the movie is, Jacob?
sure.
Is it something to do with a repeating story we've talked about over and over? Maybe a guy protecting a little girl going on a journey?
Mm,
It's
yes,
Logan.
could be, could be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
true.
Logan. It's
Last of
Last
Us.
of
Last
Us.
of Us. It's that Adam Driver 65 movie.
Oh yeah.
That's the one you
Holy
guys.
Another
shit.
great sci-fi original that we
yeah.
all
Yeah,
love.
Wow.
it's definitely a trope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking up
Um,
who the cinematographer, because I wanted to shout out the cinematographer.
They shot it on like that.
I think he did a great job.
Oh, wasn't
Greig
it Greig
Fraser.
Fraser? Yeah,
Greig
didn't we
Fraser,
decide
who's
it was
been
the
on a
Batman
roll
guy?
with Dune and Dune Part 2, The Batman, and the creator, Rogue
Wow.
One. So he's one of my favorite cinematographers of recent years.
I would agree.
He's been killing it. So looks great, but story-wise, not so much. John David Washington, Colin, you said you're not a fan of his acting, and he's really pretty not great in this either. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a bummer. But I guess you know, to use the Gareth Edwards segue, and I'm going to, I have like a little bit of a rata and reevaluation on some Godzilla briefly. After thinking about Godzilla X Kong, Scar Giver Empire, I think I like it better because it's stupid. I keep thinking I was thinking too hard, and he does
it's
use
sticking, Mike?
I'm starting to come around. I'm like, he hits a monkey with another monkey. I think it's good.
It's better than Godzilla v Kong.
No,
Yeah.
not the fun. Well, either way, it's a Showa era movie that he did. The last two, so they are stupid. And like when I thought about that, I liked Jet Jaguar. I'm like, I should like this. I'm being too harsh. But the fan theory was, what if Trapper pilots Jet Jaguar because his shirt was the same color? I'm like, I would be so stoked if
Sure.
trackers.
Yeah, that's great.
But anyway, so I came around on that, and then I rewatched Shin Godzilla. And have you all both seen that?
I've
I've never seen it. I know it's Hideki Anno.
Evangelion?
Yes, Evangelion, of course. But I've not seen it though.
So here's my pitch then, Jacob, because I highly recommend it. I was saying, what's the best suit or, physical Godzilla? This was CG mostly, but I looked at this technique. They used a little bit of a animatronic, a lot of CG, but sometimes they would motion cap, like I suggested. Like, you should have a motion capture guy, like, bump into a... Like, they did it.
Yeah.
So seeing how they executed the Godzilla stuff, I'm like, this is, like, the best tokusatsu, like, technique movie. And it's... I guess the music slaps. If I think -1 is the best Godzilla movie, this is the best Godzilla.
I thought even in -1, at times the animation of Godzilla looked like they were trying to make it look like a guy in a suit through computer animation.
That was strictly animated. That was not
fully
motion
animated
captured on Mike.
I feel like they were paying
Yeah.
tribute to that era by having them sometimes look like a guy in a suit.
Yeah, but
maybe
I love
that's-
that they motion capped it. But yeah, that was all.
That's awesome.
I looked it up, hand animated for -1. But it's incredible. Like, I keep thinking about the music. It's Evangelion X Godzilla. Like, it's really cool. I think you'd dig it. And the Godzilla scenes are like awesome. So anyway, I recommend it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we mentioned it before, Mike. Are you gonna move on to Shin Kamen Rider or any of those?
Shin
other
I might give
Ultra,
that a
Shin
whirl.
Kamen Rider.
Do we have a Shin Gamera yet?
not
I
sure.
hope not. I don't like just making everything gross.
Why has there not been a Shin Gamera? Okay, well, I guess not yet. Yeah, I'll probably check those out. I do like, again, that genre. I've been watching a lot of those. I did GMK, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah. That's another one where Godzilla's the villain, and Ghidorah and Mothra protect the Earth from him. So I want to see all the heel turns, so I just did those. But anyway,
Wow.
Godzilla
I love
Corner.
it.
I cede the floor.
Yeah. No,
yield my
that's great.
time.
I'm definitely gonna check out Shin. That's been on my list to see Shin Godzilla for a while, so it's
I
definitely.
know you like
something
Hidekiana, dude.
Yeah, love
It's-
Evangelion, end of Evangelion, all that. So, but yeah, for my new release roundup, the creator I mentioned, the three that I really wanted to shout out were the first three I talked about, which were all nominated for Best Picture, kind of a theme that we're gonna maybe get into later, for the Oscar. But I wasn't able to check them out because they just weren't available. But they're now on streaming, and I'm talking Poor Things, Anatomy of a Fall, and The Zone of Interest,
Right.
all of which I watched recently. Yeah,
I have not seen Baby Brains. I have not seen Cute Dog. I have not seen Saddest Movie Ever Made.
yeah.
Dang.
I would say they're all definitely worth checking out. I recommend all of them. I liked all of them to different degrees. Poor Things was a really fun movie, really strange movie, really crazy art direction, cinematography. They use a lot of fisheye lenses, which is kind of strange.
Wow.
Yeah, just really, really weird, like fairy tale type of movie, science fiction kind of, almost steampunk inspired art direction.
Do you like other Yorgos Lanthimos films?
I would say yes. I'm a bit of a Yorgos Lanthimos fan. I mean, he's
You're,
very like
you
either
enjoy
love him or
Greek
hate him kind
cinema?
of thing. Yeah. It goes back to my many years ago when I saw Dogtooth for the first time. And I was like, oh, this is a very strange movie. And then all of his other movies are very strange as well. But I think this movie is maybe his most accessible, with the exception of The Favorite, which I think is maybe his most accessible. But this is his second most accessible and straightforward structurally, if not aesthetically. But essentially, yeah, it's about Emma Stone plays basically a baby-brained Frankenstein. It's about a woman who died, and this mad scientist played by Willem Dafoe. So it was about a pregnant woman who commits suicide. This mad scientist takes the brain of the baby and puts it in the mom's body, and as a science experiment. So she's a baby-brained woman played by Emma Stone. And I have to say, Emma Stone in this movie obviously won the Oscar Best Actress. She fucking killed it. She's great in this. So it deals a lot with sort of feminism, feminist themes. Obviously, it's directed by a man, Yorgos Lanthimos, but I think he's trying to make a feminist film. Question how well it worked is sort of up for debate, I think. But I think it has good intentions in that way. It's a lot about have women who have control of their own body and that kind of thing, and sexual freedom. There's a lot of sex and nudity in this movie. It's not one you want to watch with your parents or something like that.
Fair.
So but it's interesting. I say check it out. Yeah.
Nice. I have not seen any of his films, so if you think this is pretty accessible, I like Emma Stone. It's cool that the Green Goblin got Gwen Stacy's body.
Yeah, I can't see Gwen Stacy go through all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's accessible for him. I wouldn't say it's accessible. It's still pretty weird movie, but it's weird in a good way, I think.
I like the cast. Favorite. I think I could get in there. Yeah.
His last movie, The Favorite.
La La Land?
Do I like La La Land? I liked it all right. Yeah.
Her performance, her other Academy Award winning Best Actress performance, do you think in weighing between the two?
I think she's better in this one. I mean, it's a way different, like a much weirder role, so there's like a lot more there. That's why I think you compare her to Lily Gladstone, who was the other sort of contender this year. People are saying, oh, she should have won over Emma Stone.
You call her the favorite.
I loved Lily Gladstone as well, but her role was much more subtle. So it's a very loud role versus a subtle, quiet role. And of course, the Oscars tend to go with the loud, out there role, which I think is why they picked Emma Stone. I thought they were both great, though, so I could really go either way with that. And then, of course, Mark Ruffalo is in this as well, and it's probably my favorite Mark Ruffalo performance. He's so funny in this. Like, this movie has it's just really funny. Like, there's a lot of really funny moments.
I can't watch the whole fuck Gwen Stacy.
Geez, what is Marvel doing?
Yeah.
While the Green Goblin watches?
Watching, yeah.
He would, too.
I put the baby brains in her.
Norman Osborn, stop.
Norman.
I would kind of compare it to, if you ever read that the book Flowers for Algernon, which is about a really dumb guy who goes through he gets like this experimental medicine or procedure or whatever, and he gets smarter over time, but then he reaches a peak of smartness, and then he gets dumber again. But this is just basically she's coming into her own as a person. She's like gaining sentience over the course of this movie. So she starts out, she's very naive, doesn't understand anything about the world, and then by the end of it, she's sort of become a fully realized woman and stuff. So it's about her journey over that time and being kind of used and abused by men in different ways and controlled by men. So it's interesting. It's a thought-provoking movie, I would say.
Yeah, I could see how it, like, literally baby brain, like commenting on like the infantilization of women and like in society, etc. So I'm here for
and it's set during Victorian times, so it's like each of the men in her life are like controlling her in a different way that fits with the Victorian times as well. So yeah, check it out.
It's like retro futurism too, right?
Yeah, very interesting. Steampunky. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I'm here for it. That sounds cool.
So that one's a lot of fun. I also saw The Anatomy of the Fall recently. Love that one. Yeah, that's just a really good sort of courtroom procedural type of movie. It's a French movie.
French.
What's that?
Thank you. I didn't know what language it was.
It's a French movie. A lot of it's in English too. It stars a German actress named Sandra Hüller, who plays a German woman that married a French man, and they live in France. She doesn't speak French. He didn't speak German, so they speak English as their kind of go-between language, because they both
Common
speak
tongue.
English. Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's about basically this man is found dead. He falls out of the window in their house. And the question is, did this woman kill him, or was it suicide or an accident? And it's all a courtroom drama type of thing.
Did he fall or was he pushed? Yeah, the classic question. Yeah.
And so it delves into their relationship. Their son is blind. He had an accident that the man blames himself for and is very guilt-ridden over that. They have troubles in their relationship, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just a really good sort of courtroom drama, if you like that kind of thing.
Turns out the dog did it.
Yeah, the dog did it. Snoop.
Best
dog.
Snoop.
That's cool.
It also an instrumental version of PIMP by 50 Cent is a big part of the soundtrack for a specific reason. If you watch the movie, it's very funny that every time it plays.
That's funny.
Yeah. Cool. So anyway, shout out to that one. And the last one I just saw last night, which is The Zone of Interest. Now this movie is fascinating to me. This is, of course, it's a movie about the Holocaust. Really cheery subject, but I would say it's unlike any Holocaust movie you've ever seen. It's totally original. I've never really seen a movie like this, to be honest. And this was by Jonathan Glazer, a very interesting director. Did Under the Skin, that movie where Scarlett Johansson plays like an alien that like eats men and stuff.
Takes her clothes off.
Yeah.
Little
I'm
difference
trying
in
to see
this
if I've
movie.
seen any of his movies either. I may have never.
Yeah. He doesn't make movies very often. Sexy Beast is another one that he made. But he makes these very kind of weird experimental movies. He got his start as a music video director, sort of in the same era as Spike Jonze. And he did, if you remember that Jamiroquai music video where like the room is moving around and he's wearing that big hat. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
If I see it,
I don't think so.
I'll have a primal memory if I see a screenshot. But,
yeah, you might recognize it.
That's exciting. Good for him.
Yeah.
So he got his start in music videos, and then he doesn't make movies that often, but he makes these very weird, experimental, slow kind of movies that aren't for everyone, I think. But I kind of tend to like him. And this movie, like I said, it's completely original. I've really never seen a movie like this. And basically, it follows this family of Nazis. The dad is Rudolf Haas, the commandant of Auschwitz. So he runs Auschwitz, and they live in a house that's literally right next to they border the wall of Auschwitz. And this Nazi family lives there, and it just follows the mundane day-to-day of their life as they live next to this concentration camp. And you never see anything explicitly on screen of like violence or anything like that, but you hear things like the sound design in this movie is incredible. You're constantly hearing like gunshots, screams, like sounds of machinery and trains and stuff off screen. It's just this ever-present sort of sound bed.
This horror just out of sight, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild to shoot a movie that way.
Very
Sounds heavy.
Yeah. It's not a super fun movie to watch, I would say. It's not my favorite movie watching experience of the year, but I think if in 50 years looking back at 2023, this one might be one of like, other than like Oppenheimer and Barbie, I think this one's going to be remembered in terms of like, this was like an important movie of the times that people are going to look back on, I think.
I mean, I think there is something to be said about like the complacency or seeing a family doing day-to-day life while horrible things are happening, where there's, obviously in the real world, there's stuff going on and we're all just kind of playing out lives. So there's a commentary there that I think is important. You're not supposed to have fun watching it. They just don't acknowledge it. Yeah, because they're like devout followers of the Nazi ideology, and they're just like, what's going on over there is good to them. So it's like they just ignore it, and it's sort of about, like, a simplistic way to put it is like the banality of evil, right? Like these people are evil, but it's sort of demystifying Nazis in terms of like a lot of movies will sort of almost mythologize them as like super evil people, and a lot of villain.
Yeah, a lot of movies about that can be sort of overly sentimental. This movie is like very dispassionate in the way that it portrays this family. The framing and the sound design, it's all just, it gives you this feeling of dread over the whole movie that's just like really interesting.
How do I get in with the mindset? I do want to watch it, but it does sound really I'm looking at some of the cinematography now, like, man, seems important to watch, almost like look at how much Oppenheimer, Godzilla, and this, like, what the 45, what a year for humanity, man, or that time period. Jeez, we're still processing it today.
And this movie, it's like I said, it's very experimental. It doesn't really have a plot. It's just kind of things happen over time, but it's very slow moving. I wouldn't say it's maybe not for everyone if you're not super into like slow moving art movie kind of things.
Right.
But
Jacob, you were saying German woman starring in Anatomy of a Fall.
That's right.
Very strange fact, isn't she?
Sandra Hüller. Yeah, she also is in this movie. She plays the wife character. Two very different roles.
Interesting year
because I've never heard of this actress before. She broke out with these two movies. Both of them got Best Picture nominations for the Oscars, and both are foreign language films. So to get Best Picture nomination is very impressive. And of course, this movie won Best Foreign Language Film.
Right.
Wow.
There was the controversial moment of Jonathan Glazer's acceptance speech where he said basically mentioning Gaza and saying, like, as a Jewish man himself, he did not want his Jewishness hijacked in terms of Israel, what Israel is doing to Gaza, he was just against. And that became controversial. I thought in the moment, it was very middle of the road statement. Like, he wasn't going one way or the other, but he was just condemning genocide in general. A lot of Israel supporters took it very badly, and they wrote this big letter about condemning it and everything. It's insane. So I think it was a great statement to make.
Probably important. Yeah, and I agree with that sentiment. We should not be having civilians being killed, period. I will proudly say that.
But if you're calling a Jewish man who just directed a movie about the Holocaust anti-Semitic, you might want to look at yourself and rethink what you're doing. So
oh my gosh.
But yeah, that was an incredible movie. Like, again, unlike any Holocaust or World War II movie I've ever seen, just in the way that it sort of dispassionately shows these events, and it's just filled with dread, and it's really interesting. But so you can check that out on HBO Max, I think. Poor Things is on Hulu. Anatomy of the Fall, I think, is on Hulu as well. So those are all available on streaming right now.
Gotcha. I think some like the banality of evil. I think that's a good way to maybe set this thing up. Interesting.
Absolutely.
So if I'm really bummed out after this, can I cheer myself up on Max by watching Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom? Would you recommend that? Sorry, it's a hard transition. But we're gonna pull it.
It's a masterpiece, Mike. It's a masterpiece.
You can watch Aquaman. You can watch Wonka as well on Max.
Yeah, how's Lisan Al Gaib in that?
Yeah, you see a little boy Timmy singing and dancing.
Is he good?
Some people really liked this movie. I thought it was just kind of okay. I didn't love it. Colin, maybe I know I think you've seen it. You
I
might
didn't see it.
like it more than me, but
I thought it was fine. Both of us, I think the big takeaway was, oh wow, that film is very much about learning to read, but not making chocolate.
Yeah, Willy Wonka is illiterate
Shocking.
in this movie, which is a very strange choice.
He's on a poor things journey.
But Timothy
he's
Chalamet, the
great.
big story is he's the first actor to have 2 movies that made, I forget the stat, but it was like a certain amount of money. Because like this movie actually did very well at theaters, surprisingly. Because when I saw the trailers, I was like,
movie of the year, yeah. Or that holiday
when I saw the trailer, I was apprehensive. I was like, I don't know if he can pull this off. I think it's going to bomb. Turns out it was a big hit. And then he had Dune 2, another big hit within a span of a couple months. And they're saying he's the new big movie star of the future. He's the new Leo DiCaprio.
Johnny Depp. We need a replacement for him anyway. Let's get a new one. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't even care about talking about the movie star side of all that stuff or about that movie. What drives me fucking crazy is that you cannot buy fucking tie-in chocolate or food or merch tied to Willy Wonka.
That's true. Well, I heard that that's due to a rights issue because there's actual Willy Wonka chocolate, which is a brand, right?
When we were children, we would get Nestle commercials. Do you guys remember that had nerds? And then a cartoon Willy Wonka would be like, "They're nerding up my nerds." And a new type of like nerd would come out, and he'd be like, "Scrum duddly doop dorp."
Everlasting gobstoppers,
the magic swirls.
Name a new candy. They don't make new candies anymore, dog. They stopped.
No, and you think they would? You think there would be movie tie-ins? Like, obviously, you're making a Wonka movie. You should have some kind of candy tie-in.
You have a Wonka bar with $1 million. You know, 1 golden ticket. Done.
It's so easy.
Give us jobs, people. We can.
But of course, I think it's a rights issue. They just didn't have the rights to the Willy Wonka name when it comes to candies.
You can call him Wonka. You can't call him Willy Wonka. You can call him Kong. Just not King Kong. Right?
Well, Mike. Call him Charlie Bars. Call him, call him whatever. Oompa Loompa whatevers. Who fucking cares?
Of course, this movie is a prequel, so it's very much not about his chocolate factory because he hasn't made the chocolate factory. Right? It's about him how he got his start and these evil chocolate guys that were the chocolate cartel that was trying to stop him because his chocolate was so much better than everyone else.
The chocolate must flow.
That's right. Willy Muad'Dib Wonka.
Couple scenes like that, Mike.
That's right.
He's also helped by a young black woman on his quest to overthrow someone who controls the flow of something, Mike. Yes.
Wow. Have
There's
you
a
heard
lot of sorry, go ahead.
There's a fan theory, which I need to watch this Wonka and then see if it works, but there's a long YouTube video that connects Willy Wonka and Snowpiercer. That Snowpiercer is a direct sequel to Willy Wonka.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know why, because I haven't seen Snowpiercer, so now I'm going to have to watch both of these.
You haven't seen Snowpiercer?
You haven't seen Mike. You would.
I know. Blind Spot.
I love Snowpiercer.
Wow.
Well, the director said he was like inspired by Willy Wonka when he made it because of how crazy the factory is, and I guess all the train cars are fucked up. Yeah.
Well, there's candy bars made of bugs in it. Now, my father adamantly hates that film for some reason.
Really?
Jacob. I have no idea why. I think
I'm a big fan of that film.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
It's all about class.
Bong Joon-ho, doing it. Classism.
Classism, exactly. So, it's a fun movie.
Seek out the fan theory is all I'm saying. It's fascinating.
And you got Captain America in there. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob, you want to give a quick hell yeah? You want to give a quick hell yeah?
Hell yeah. Wonka, just to say, also, last thing to mention about Wonka, it is a musical, so there's a lot of songs, maybe too many songs, in my opinion.
Scrub.
A lot of British comedians making guest roles. It's fun. Yeah. Aquaman 2. Didn't love this one so much. I actually like Aquaman 1, but this is definitely a downgrade for me in terms of Aquaman's. And it's really the last dying gasp of the DCEU. Pretty forgettable movie. Not too much to say about this one, honestly.
That seems about right.
Jason Momoa.
You should watch it, Mike. It's dumb fun.
No, I can throw that on too. There's a lot. Yeah, a lot to watch though. I do want to watch Poor Things.
It has
on the list. And,
Poor Things is great. There's
good stuff.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty forgettable. Black Manta is in there. Ocean Master, his brother.
Some weird
teamed up
Lord
with
of the Rings stuff. The's like that whole like kingdom under the sea and like the green
Lost
fire
Kingdom.
Sauron
Yeah.
stuff where you're like,
Yeah,
It's
basically
weird.
Black Manta gets
Wild.
possessed by the evil king of the seventh hidden kingdom back in Atlantis's times and all this nonsense. So
Okay.
we all know the story. Tale as old as time.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Oh wow.
so pretty forgettable, but definitely,
You like
Check
the
it out.
first one because you like Amber Heard more than Patrick Wilson. Wow.
no, I wouldn't say that.
Yes,
And
that's exactly what you would say.
I did like Patrick Wilson was fun in this movie. They kind of team up. It's kind of a Loki Thor thing, and
They
literally they
say-
reference that in the movie. So
He says,
Um,
"I'll send you back to Azkaban."
there's a lot of references to other movies which I don't
Yeah.
consider to be jokes.
Jason
but-
Momoa gets a story credit on this film.
Hell yeah,
oh
brother.
hell yeah, brother.
Is that something he needs control of? Hey, we got to talk about the environment.
It's me, Duncan, Idaho. Yeah.
And
Did you
speaking
notice
of,
on the speaking
yeah.
of Duncan Idaho? Did you notice on the Guinness product placement, Jacob?
No.
He drinks a
Wow.
Guinness in almost every scene he's in. He just
That's
holds
hilarious.
a Guinness while
Just loves
feeding and
Guinness.
changing his baby. He holds a
His
Guinness
dad,
while like
Boba
diving
Fett.
in the ocean.
I was gonna
Boba
make
Fett
that
says,
joke.
"Hey, pass
Django.
me a Guinness. I'm Boba Fett."
Django, yeah.
Technically,
No, he's Boba too.
technically, I guess, but I was gonna make a joke. Oh yeah, I learned what Guinness. Sorry, I learned what splitting the G was today, or when I watched Roadhouse. I think there was a tie-in, but you drink a Guinness and you have to get the first sip halfway down the letter G.
Oh,
And that's-
sure.
it's
That's
how close can it get?
Roadhouse
Gee.
is one I still need to check out.
Oh yeah, it's fun
Mike,
enough.
what'd you
Heard some good
think?
things about it.
McGregor's unhinged. It's crazy.
Conor McGregor.
He walk
like he's on
the
drugs.
Notre Dame Irish leprechaun. He moves in a way where you're like, no human. What are you doing?
No, his
human moves
wireframe
like
is
that.
fucked up in that movie.
Yes.
yeah.
It's the
The model
CG
is
is
broken.
wrong on him.
Well, did you see like the press interview
Yeah.
he did where he's literally like twitching like he's
on
like
drugs.
on drugs?
The best performance of the year is Jake Gyllenhaal acting not concerned next to him on that press tour, basically.
Yeah, boy.
Wow.
But it's fun. They did cool techniques for the fighting where they would like do a pass where they punch like a pad and then they would do, and
I
so like
saw-
the impacts are
yeah.
really cool.
I saw some of the behind the scenes of how they did that. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, stitching these crazy frames together.
Yeah, and then I watched
Last
the
thing I
Swayze
wanna
one.
s-
I did mention that. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Last thing I just wanted to say about Aquaman. Speaking of Amber Heard, who is in the movie, but
Yeah. how
as I said
much?
in my Letterboxd review, it seems like her and Momoa were never in the same room at the same time. If you told me that, I would believe it, even though they have scenes where they physically interact and touch each other. I think they have a scene where they kiss, but I still believe that they shot it separately somehow and composited it.
Photoshop.
They
And I
use
think
the
Jason
Roadhouse
Momoa, I'm pretty sure Jason Momoa is like friends with Johnny Depp, and that led to a lot of tensions on set where he was Team Depp, so to speak. So maybe they didn't get along so well on the set.
If he's on the
that's what
boys,
I'm
he'd be the Depp instead of the Deep. And the number of bracelets does signal Johnny
Mm.
Depp's side.
And
Yeah.
eyeliner. Couldn't you
Yep.
so easily see him being the villain in the next Pirates movie?
Oh my God.
Jason
Actually,
Momoa.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that would be
Where
great.
they're like, he's half shark. And you're like,
well, he was already
He's
he already
Aquaman.
was a villain in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, of
remember?
course. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to him. He's like, I'm a wet guy.
People are
Mahalo.
comparing Conor McGregor to his Fast and the Furious villain. Like in
Oh
energy.
really?
They're basically
Yeah.
the Joker. They just
I
play
know.
the Joker.
I'm gonna check out Roadhouse. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's a fun time. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I went down that rabbit hole too and watched Life? You know, that alien ripoff?
Yeah.
You know, I did a couple of those.
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah, you said you were on the cyberpunk kick. I was watching a lot of those cyberpunk
Yeah.
movies with
did
you,
Rebecca
with
Ferguson
Neil
one, too.
Blomkamp. Oh, yeah.
Well, we stayed with our beloved Hiroyuki Sanada, right? We've all still been enjoying
Yes.
the hell out of Shogun.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Hi.
Every
Aye,
time
aye.
that comes out, I watch the new episode. It's must-watch TV for me, and yeah, I've been loving it. It's almost over now. I think there's like 3 episodes left. So
Yeah.
I'm sad because it's literally my favorite thing of the week. I told you guys off pod, I'm like, I like to pick up Jollibee and watch Shogun on Tuesdays. That's my favorite
yeah.
thing.
So what did we think of the last episode where Nakakato?
Well,
Yoshi
Just real
Kato.
quick, because a couple things have happened since our episode that I would like to point out. The earthquake
Yes.
has occurred. I thought that was some of the best special effects that have ever been put on television. I think it rules. We also got some sort of article that explained why you can't watch the Richard Burton miniseries, and it seems like it's because they're ashamed of the formatting, because of course it was shot for standard definition television, and they don't have a way to like properly like letterbox or upscale it, I guess.
It was in the 80s. People understand it was 80s TV. It was very
Just put it on. Who fucking cares? It's gonna be like a small, like, who cares? Whatever.
Right.
But
I'm watching
to
on my
answer your
phone,
question, I'm loving it, Jacob. The tension is so great. I love that last episode in particular. Seeing the young story of why we love this fucking badass Hiroyuki Sanada, that he's a fucking 12-year-old. He's like, look, I'll be your second in this seppuku act. I'll fucking cut your head off and like make a name for myself. It's fucking badass.
Well, the guy calls him out, and you know, it's like, you're gonna do it, and it's like, damn.
Because he defeats this other warlord at age 12 or whatever. We found out in the most recent episode he has a secretly evil brother that comes into the story, which is
made me a regent or whatever daimyo,
regent
title that he's like, so what do I give a shit? And you're like, oh,
he's the scar to Hiroyuki Sanada's
man.
Masa.
This guy's performance, everybody's great in the show, but he's just so good at being this kind of asshole. Kind of man.
I still love
the scene of him telling the story.
Like,
dude,
the turn when you realize it's a like sort of a red wedding moment where you're like, oh shit,
bro.
Good way to put it. Now, Jacob, it's funny you say that. This program has recently been added to Letterboxd now that you can show that you've watched it and review it. And I took a look and saw some of the reviews, and one of the top ones is, in the game of Shogun, you either win or you seppuku.
Yes,
that's great. Yeah,
it is great. Game of Thrones. It is great.
Man.
Yeah. It really is. We still have our Anjin Sama boy in there, just trying to get his shit back
and just
get the hell out of this crazy country.
Let me go to my ship. It's like, what is he's just on the sidelines while all this shit's going down? Like, can I leave, please?
I fired those cannons. Jacob shared the funniest meme about how I bring sort of I want to leave energy.
Give me my
legitimately made me laugh out loud. I thought it was so fucking funny
because it's seeing some Shogun movies that are pretty funny.
But
so funny.
All the stuff with Buntaro is crazy. Sorry,
Buntaro, the family drama of it all.
I cannot believe Buntaro. It's for us to talk in that episode we did where like, the husband's gone or whatever, and then now
dead.
It's
that's
like
crazy.
No, we've got so much Buntaro to go through.
Yeah. I would much rather have I want to get in my ship and leave energy as opposed to Buntaro energy, because that's a red flag.
Shooting those arrows. What did you guys think?
What? Badass and scary.
Shooting the arrow scene where he's fucking firing him at Rhea. Tell me her name again. Rina Sanawa.
Anna Sawai.
Anna Sawai. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, give her the Oscar already. It's done. Or the Emmy.
Yeah, she's great.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
And I want to shout out my favorite character still, Yabushiga, the guy who's just trying to play both sides and constantly just losing both sides.
I'm more of a no matter how many deaths I escape, there's always another one waiting kind of energy.
Yeah. Every episode, I saw another good one about him. When you're told you have to work on the weekends, the energy Yamashi has. He's just constantly like, what?
He's just like, man, shit's getting bad. I'm gonna try to play the other side. It's not gonna work out. He rewrites his will in every episode. He's like, I'm probably gonna die today. We'll see how it goes.
He's the embodiment of a big exhale. Like,
God.
And the way that actor plays him is just so funny to me. Like, he's just like, he's just got to laugh at how shit his situation is right now.
And he's like trying to train Anjin Sama for a bit in that one scene. Like,
and then Buntaro comes over.
Yeah, which man,
crazy.
When Toranaga's like, sorry, dog. You can't. Like, oh my God.
Please let me kill the Anjin Sama.
The tension.
My wife.
It's quickly dawning on me the second we get done, I'll have another one to watch.
That's right.
See, I'll wait till tomorrow because that's when Jollibee's open, but I cannot wait. We love Shogun. Please watch it. I have seen people, I mean, you're watching the dub, right, Colin?
Yes.
That's still all right? I do like the nature of the translation of it, though, even just in the story, even if you're watching
I need to check out the dub just to see what that's like, because I've only been watching the sub version, and I'm interested to see how they do the dub, basically.
Well,
But
you know,
it's-
so my father doesn't have Hulu, and I've been recommending this show so much to him that he's like, I've got to check it out. I've got to check it out. He does have YouTube TV, so I guess they broadcast these all day on FX. So he has now successfully taped every one of them. And I was like, yo, you know what the issue's going to be? I don't know if you're going to like them because on Hulu, I can select the dub. Will you tell me what the broadcast is? Is everybody speaking with subtitles? And he said they are. I don't care. I'm excited, Colin. And I said, awesome. If that's not going to be a barrier of entry, you're going to love it, dude.
Yeah, I think again, the story is all about communication. What do you reveal? What are you holding back? The translation, is it it's beyond even the translating, the whole culture of like what you reveal to the world and what you're keeping secret, right? It's just a really cool energy.
Every man has 3 hearts. Kind of
and I want to know what Toranaga got. He's turning himself in, right? Essentially. So.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned on the episode we did, in the 80s version, they didn't even subtitle the Japanese because they said anything that Anjin Sama doesn't understand, the audience doesn't understand. I think that's an interesting choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I should try to rewatch it with no subs next time. Even though conversational, they're using a way different dialect. It would be kind of neat to see it without.
Yeah.
Also, I looked it up afterwards. Richard Burton's still alive. He's like 89 years old or like 92 years old. So shout out. King of the miniseries. We're proud of him.
Get him
of course,
to be the king
Shiro
of
Mifune,
England.
the original Toranaga. So.
Yeah. Very long dead. But what if Richard Burton was still on Japan? He's like, I never left. I'm still on the island. I'm Anjin Sama.
Still doing
Love
it.
No,
that's
Richard
incredible. Yeah,
Shogun.
The plot twist at the end, that's going to be a problem too. So don't get caught slipping, listeners. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the bummer. So we're definitely not going to do another Shogun episode. We obviously did that pretty early. We loved it. So I guess maybe by 300 or maybe by the next Whatcha or whatever we do, maybe you'll hear us be like, that show ruled. And we will give you a final summary or whatever.
Yeah, or maybe we sneak in a bonus. Who knows? We'll figure something out. But we will definitely need to talk about this, I think, because it's the best show of the year. We love it.
I'm watching that.
Anything else you guys are watching, or
I think we are doing an episode on X-Men 97 in the future, right?
Yes, I believe we will be. Yes.
So let's just say for a minute then, we've been watching it. What we're up to now, I've been enjoying very much.
Yes. Me as well. I only watched the first 2 episodes, so I haven't watched since those first 2 dropped, but I need to catch up, which I will do.
I'm on I think 4. How many do we have now, Colin?
I think we have 6 as of tomorrow.
Yeah, I saw one with Jubilee and a video game kind of subplot. That's like the most recent one. So
yes.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I never liked the original one. I think I had this hot take.
That's a hot take. Yeah.
Wow, that is a hot take.
For whatever reason, when I was young, I thought the intro was too long, even though the song slaps, and I would just be bored.
Song slaps.
I know it does. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I like this. I find I'm enjoying this as an adult, even though I didn't watch the original. So they're doing a great job with it. That's all I want to say.
I'll just say one thing about it. I love the portrayal of Magneto so far. Magneto is my favorite character in this new show. I mean, I've always been a Magneto fan, especially with the movies, because I loved Ian McKellen as Magneto. I love Michael Fassbender as Magneto. But I love this Silver Fox, long, luscious hair Magneto. I mean...
You like the dumb M outfit?
Sure. It's okay. I love that he's just walking around unhelmeted with his long, luscious hair.
Well, the helmet was for Charles, and Charles ain't here anymore. So yeah. Rest in power.
So I don't want to reveal what he's up to now because it might be sort of a twist of.
That's interesting, though. We should definitely talk favorite mutants when we do that episode because I love you shouting out Magneto as one of your favorites.
Big Magneto fan. Magneto was right. Yeah.
Very funny.
A guy who would definitely watch Zone of Interest and be like,
if he was there, things would go much differently.
Like Magneto over here.
Yeah.
No, Magneto's great. What else? Superpowers. I watched Invincible. If that dropped, how do you watch it, Colin? Jacob, did you see the new season?
I've seen some of it. I've seen definitely the first, because the way they released it is really weird. They released like half the season and then waited like a couple months to release the other half. I've definitely seen the first half and I think maybe 1 episode of the second half so far. So yeah.
Got it. I finished it today. Colin, did you finish it?
Dog, I finished it today, literally right before we started this episode. That's awesome.
Same. Very cool. All right. Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm kind of out.
Hey, Mike, guess what? I
Hmm.
texted everybody, I'm super hot on this show, and Jacob immediately cooled us and was like, no, it's not that great. And I was
Sorry,
like, oh,
guys.
I don't know. I haven't watched that much. You saying you don't like it? Hey, bombshell. I thought that season fucking sucked, dog. I did
Whoa.
not like this season at all, dude.
Wow. I'm just saying I thought it feels a little directionless post. I think the big thing of last season was the Omni-Man reveal as a villain. Once they did that, I feel like it's very directionless now, and I just don't know what they're going for. But I haven't seen the whole season yet.
Well, yeah. So, just generally what they're doing, it's like, what if Spider-Man was Superman? And like, whenever they're doing the teen drama, like my boyfriend and my girlfriend, and then
I hit the skip, dog.
Yeah, it's like it's just
there's so many characters.
Then somebody blows up. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're doing, like, I appreciate what they're trying to do with like the world building and like adapting all these characters that I'm sure were in the comics and stuff, but it's like too much. Like, I don't need all these tertiary characters. Like,
give me Battle Beast.
Yeah. I want to say 5,000 things to all the points that you guys have said. So I have told my father that I'm watching this show, and I'm like, and you didn't watch season 1? And he's like, no. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, that we did a season 1 episode on this podcast. We covered it, and I think we all were generally like, yeah, fucking 8 or 10
with
fine
the boys.
episodes.
Yeah.
Good Amazon's job. Maybe got it figured out. You guys never did the Tick, right? I like their other superhero offering, the Tick, but we like Gen V. We like this.
Boys,
yes. Maybe Invincible slots in there. The Seth Rogen of it all too. He was like, should I watch it? And I was like, in this world where like you have everything you could watch and like time is so fucking valuable, like if you weren't already coming to me saying I'm interested in watching it, I would not fucking recommend it to you. And because it's like it's a long edging session. It's fucking a whole season of it's a whole season of okay episodes leading to one really good finale of what Jacob just said, the fucking Omni-Man fight. And this season, as I'm watching it too, I'm going in my mind, so help me God, if this is just edging leading to one big fight. And Mike, what's the last fucking episode, dude?
Well, it's not. It's just a setup. The whole thing's a setup, and we even get, you know what I mean? It's crying. The last episode's crying. I don't know. It's already.
Don't know what that means, but
you'll find out.
But it does lead to a big.
I guess I didn't like that fight, but it does. Yeah.
Yeah. It's in an Omni-Man style. This is supposed to change everything. Where you're like, it really doesn't. And I was trying to think about what if we had criticisms for that first season, and what I don't think we hit enough, and to talk onto the ensemble issue Jacob just pointed out is having a full celebrity voice cast. Where you have fucking Sandra Oh has to be involved with episodes. Fucking Invincible himself, Steven, absolutely. Fucking Seth Rogen, fucking
they get a ton of different
Zachary Quinto. None of
Simmons.
These are voice actors. J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons is an Academy Award winning actor. You think J.K. Simmons doesn't command a fucking $1 million a fucking episode or whatever he's doing to do the Omni-Man voice? And then the creators have to go, well, if we're paying him that much, I guess we should kind of have him around a lot. But like, we're really splitting the season between, we got to give Sandra Oh more to do. We got to give this person more to do. And it's just this chain of like, when you have that many people, nobody gets developed.
Yeah, even when you have the Justice League, like their Justice League, they've got like Zachary Quinto and like all these different people. I got to the point where he goes to, this other alien planet where Omni-Man is living now and created a sort of a new family and kind of thing. Not to spoil too much, but
well, that's the first.
Like, where's this going? Yeah, he's got a new brother and stuff.
And I think that was the mid-season cut, Jacob, because again, they ran into COVID issues, so they split it up. I didn't do that. I waited till it was all released, and even that I do not feel satisfying. I can't imagine how mad you would be if you watched this weekly.
Yeah. It feels like Jacob, everybody's just doing their own thing. Like there's no central thread that everybody's doing together. No. Like Mark's just doing some stuff. Other dudes like there's no central threat or anything that they're all working towards. No. They're just doing their own thing, so it is disjointed.
Yeah, to compare it to like The Boys, which I think it's sort of the animated The Boys in a way, but I think The Boys is much more focused on the big threat, right? And everyone's sort of revolving around that. So,
well, and the danger we've pitched with that is once Homelander's done, that show is done. That's the Omni-Man thing. Like you can't continue past that, right?
No.
So as the number of superhero things are falling off, the only two I tolerate now are The Boys and X-Men 97. I don't think I'm coming back to Invincible. I'm kind of over Marvel.
We're not going to do an episode on it, right, Mike? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I wouldn't. This is it. That's all you get.
Well, should we move on to the gaming side of things next?
Let's hop into the gaming side.
What you been playing?
Okay.
Yeah, but I've been finding myself watching Invincible and being like, just mid-episode, being like, just losing interest and like not finishing it. I'll watch this later.
Anytime we have like Monster Girl and middle part, I don't even know that character.
Oh yeah.
The one thing I liked was when Zachary Quinto says, "We're not in Star Trek. We're unarmed," or something. Like they did that line, but that's the highlight. Anyway.
Robot boy or whatever.
Robot.
Yes. Yeah.
Robot.
All right. Well, speaking of robots, guys. All right, we're gaming, right? We're talking about gaming, right? The new video game stuff. I have to say, yeah. Speaking of robots,
we're back.
Helldivers, Colin. There's big news on the front. Are you aware of any of this?
What's the latest news from Super Earth, Mike?
Yes, the Super
Earth
report.
I know you guys are still at it. I am not playing still. I have not watched you guys play still. But so help me God, if my feed on Reddit is not littered with news about Helldivers and memes about it. So I do think I know what's going on in Automaton world or whatever they are, but please do tell me.
More like what's not going on, because we have rallied together and completely destroyed and extinguished the Automaton threat. They are no more in the galaxy.
They're never coming back.
We took the Creek. April 3rd is Creek Day. Never forget. That's the day Malevelon Creek fell.
Malevelon Creek, also known as Robot Vietnam.
You got a little cape. Was that your reward? You got a little...
A cape to remember our fallen brothers from the Creek. Yeah. Our Vietnam memorial cape, basically, for robots. But they're done. The robots are completely...
like we said, there's two fronts of this war. You've got the bugs, the Starship Trooper inspired bugs, and you've got the automatons, sort of Terminator inspired T-1000s walking around. And we've defeated the robots. They're never coming back into the game, I guess. Yeah.
And the daily order Hellmeyer update is 1 hour and 58 minutes away from being liberated. So we're very close to getting the bugs on a back foot too. We're crushing
winning
it right
the war.
now, citizens. We're winning the war.
And this
we're
is
on
like
the moral correct side, everybody. Yeah.
I'm getting very nervous hearing these things because I'm upset about whatever in-universe rug pull that's going to happen that I know you guys are aware of too, but it's just I know you guys are going to have to act like you aren't to fall for whatever ruse this is.
Well, what's so funny is like I mean, I found a bug corpse on a robot planet. I'm not suggesting that they put bugs and then send robots to clean them up after. I would never. And then we had to kill the robot. I would never suggest that. That's crazy.
Sounds like treason, what you're saying.
Yeah, never. But it is fun having everybody in the community collectively doing this D&D thing. It's just like the best live service I've ever experienced. I can't get
Shout
enough
out
of
to
it.
Joel. We're kicking Joel's ass.
Don't kill me.
I'm so happy.
The robots. Yeah, the robots are gone, and you can't even you can't play robots right now. You can't go to those planets because they've all been liberated, so you can only do bugs right now. And yes, it's probably leading to a big reveal coming soon, which I won't talk about.
Queen or like some sort of like AI, like Ultron.
Well, it's a meta game. A little bit, because I look at, there's leaks. There's a lot of leaks in this game, but I just look at it like intelligence from Super Earth. It's like there's rumors that there's another faction, right? There's been whispers. So in the first game, I don't think it's a spoiler. There's like aliens called the Illuminate.
There's a third faction in Helldivers 1. Yeah, so I'm
we're
guessing
seeing ships in the sky, like little rumbles.
Whispers. What do they look like? What is the sort of like comparison point?
They're like little wizard alien
They're like kind of white, holy looking, kind of the prophets from Halo.
Okay, but like, but are you saying like you're going, the prophets from Halo? Because I was going to say, if you're going from fucking Starship Troopers to Terminator to the Gorn, I was about to get
that would be
fucking
sick.
excited.
No, I
think
they're
more
more
lasers and stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's funny though, if you ever have you ever seen Helldivers 1 gameplay like on YouTube? It's a top-down version, but it looks like a lot of the aesthetics are directly from in Helldivers 2 are directly from the first game. So even your ship, the way you drop down in the pods and stuff, it's all taken directly from the first game. It's just
But it's like
top-down
StarCraft.
twin-stick
Is that
shooter.
what you mean by
It's that perspective, but you control one player.
It's a top-down twin stick shooter like Hotline Miami or one of those games where you're controlling your character and you're just shooting things and you're walking around. It's
like
a
the
top-down
bullet
perspective.
hell.
Yeah,
Yeah, with your little squad. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's pretty. So that's why we know some things, like the robots that we freed when we took back Tianquan. You know that those robots were in the first game, like stuff like that.
Right.
But
of
what
course,
the bugs are
we've
doing
been
now? Yeah,
Sorry,
well, you
go
go ahead, Jacob. I'm just like very excited.
I'm just saying we've been playing a lot of Helldivers, Mike, you especially. And shout out to our friend of the pod, Adam. Been a guest many times on here. 3 of us a lot of times will squat up late at night and kick some robot ass or some bug ass.
Yeah, man, spread some democracy. We've got all the robots registered to vote.
That's right.
The bugs right now, we're trying to take a planet that has fire tornadoes, and Super Earth tells us it's so we can get the E710, which flipped upside down is oil. We're trying to get oil here in the Hell planet. So my thinking in metagame is they're going to get this planet and they're drilling and stuff, and they're going to wake something up because there's been giant carcasses around. So I think we're going to get a big old bug boss in Hellmire.
Sure.
That's
the brain bug.
Metagaming. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's scared. It's afraid. Yeah.
I do think that in the future, like the tide of the war is going to turn against us, because if you look at the map in the game, there's a ton of sectors and planets that have not even been used yet, that I think eventually, pretty much we've only been limited to a couple sectors on
quadrants. There's only been 2 utilized at least.
Yeah.
The
environments
environments
we haven't even been to
pretty similar in the ones that you play right now. Like
no, they're all
not a lot of
different. There's
biodiversity.
no, there is a lot of biodiversity.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah, there's desert planets, rocky planets, snow planets, jungle, like everything.
Fire tornado.
Every clip I watch, it's just jungle and mist.
Well, that's Malevolent Creek. That's Robot Vietnam, but yeah, that's a fan favorite.
Okay.
But they have
we were on like
events.
Arrakis the other night where they had
Yes,
sandstorms.
you're doing
and shit.
fucking on bugs. Is there bugs on Arrakis?
Yeah,
I think that was
are.
bugs. Yeah,
God damn dogs.
sandworms.
But yeah, they have weather events that'll mess with your like airstrikes and your whatever. Like the weather will affect visibility. There's a lot of like dynamic things,
different
happening
environmental factors.
Yeah, it makes each playthrough like unique just because there's so much kind of random shit that could happen.
Sometimes there's like spore towers that you have to take out. If you don't take them out, then everything's hazy. It lowers your visibility. Or there's like on the robot side, there's jammers which will jam all your stratagems and stuff that you have to destroy before you can bring down your stratagems. So
yeah, so I can't throw a nuke at them. You have to go in there and blow something up manually. It's terrifying. But shout out to the devs, because they're adding new mission types. The missions we play, even though they're the same style, like they're fun because of how they designed it. We're getting new guns. We're getting content. They gave us a cape. Like compared to any other live service game, it's like they're just crushing it. And even if there's bugs here and there, pun intended, it's like I give them so much leniency because they're like actually treating their players with respect. So shout outs.
I would say the big downside, and I do agree with everything you're saying. I think they've done a great job. They didn't expect the amount of traffic that they would be getting in their game. Yeah.
No.
I would say the only downside for me is the playability issue of I've had a lot of crashes. I've had a lot of dropping out of parties. I've had a lot of bugs in game where sometimes you can't board the exfil ship because it's bugged, or you can't do a certain thing because it's bugged. So I'm sure they'll work them out all eventually, but it is frustrating at times when you do a 40-minute mission and then can't exfil and you have to lose all the progress that you made.
This current patch had problems with finishing the missions after you'd spent 40 minutes. So they're aware, they're working on it, but it sucks. But still,
but it is a really fun game.
At least I'm not in an abusive relationship. Like it's an accident, it's an accident, the bug. And with other companies, they're like taking advantage of me. Well, literally face down, red jumpsuit, callback all the way back.
Right.
But no, like other companies literally take advantage of you on purpose, and they're just like doing their best. So it's like, okay, it kind of sucks, but it's all right.
Yeah,
that's my view anyway.
And they're very communicative with their audience and that kind of thing about everything. So, good stuff there.
This is heated up pretty much all y'all's attention right now. Really diverted away from the old Fortnite.
Well, I've been playing. Well, here's the thing for me.
Yeah. What's up?
My gaming dilemma, which is, I know, Mike, you've been pretty much playing only this game.
Yeah.
You've probably
Well,
played, I think,
I'm a
on
patriot.
Steam. Yeah. I look on Steam, like I've played like 60 hours of this game. I think you've played like double that. So you've played a little bit more than me. You're higher level than me and stuff. But
It
I
was
play
over
a
100
lot.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But my whole gaming dilemma right now is that, when these Steam sales come out, these seasonal Steam sales, I like to buy up a bunch of games for cheap on Steam. But my dilemma is I keep playing the same 3 games in rotation. So it's Helldivers, Fortnite, and my NBA 2K franchise, which I love to play, which I'm just the GM of a basketball team.
God bless Helldivers for being so new and wedging itself in there, though.
Yeah, it has taken up, but a lot of times I'm like, I want to play Helldivers with you guys, but I'm also really want to play my basketball game because I'm just weird like that. But
you just jettisoned Halo. Like Halo is gone.
Yeah.
Halo is
me,
gone.
yeah,
I
it's
was
dead.
already off of Halo
Yeah.
more than even Mike was, I think, because I would play very occasionally when these guys would get online, but I was on to Fortnite. Fortnite was my multiplayer shooter of choice of recent times, and I'm still
Less
playing
Rocket
Fortnite.
League.
Yeah, Rocket League's been
Rocket
out.
League,
and
that's
parked the car.
a Mike game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still play Fortnite a lot. I'm doing my chores there, unlocking the new battle pass and stuff because I'm a sucker for basically number go up, me get reward, and me happy.
Right.
And this new season has been fun. They're doing this whole Greek god thing, and they've got Zeus and Hades and all these different Greek gods.
Poseidon.
Yeah. So I've just been playing these 3 games over and over and over, doing the same thing. I play,
But you don't have
this
enough time.
basketball
It's the
game.
dilemma, right?
Yeah, and I get all these new games on sale. You can get you can get a $60 game for $5. I'm like, hell yeah. So I own hundreds of games, literally hundreds
Do you
of
have
games
an
on
estimate
Steam.
of the backlog, maybe, roughly?
Total games on Steam is over 300 for me.
Okay.
Individual games.
There's a genre of human being, and like my cousins are like this too, where they'll get all the Steam sale games, and then it's hundreds, and then I have maybe 20 games, and I haven't beaten all those. So I'm just like, when are you gonna play them? I'm at a place right now where, unless it's Elden Ring DLC, like I'm not getting games. Like I don't need more in my life right now. You know?
No, that's
I'm
exactly
proud
my
of you for
problem.
that.
Thanks.
But every time there's a Steam seasonal sale, I'm like, I'm gonna take advantage of this. I'm gonna buy up some old games
It's
that
such a
are
good
on
deal.
95% sale. Like hell yeah, I'm gonna, because one day I might want to play them. And on this
Fair.
most recent one, I got the Jedi games, the Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, which I've played and beaten Fallen Order back on the PS4. So it was that long ago. Think about that.
Wow.
You couldn't pass up the deal.
No, I was like, let me get that for $5. I'm sure I want to replay it at some time. And then I was like, well, if I jump into Jedi Survivor, maybe I should replay Fallen Order first, just to get back into the flow of things. So we'll see how that goes.
Interesting.
I also got X-Men
Legends
Blazing
2?
Sun.
Let's go.
No.
I wish.
I got
X-Men
X-Men
Blazing
Sun.
Saddles. That's right. That's that movie you keep trying to get us to watch.
Mm-hmm.
No,
It's,
Midnight Suns.
X-Men Midnight Sun, which is from the people that made the XCOM games. So I was a
I
big
wanna hear
fan of
about that.
XCOM 2, which is
Okay.
it's a turn-based game where you move your different players around and that kind of thing.
You're crushing bugs there too.
Yeah, and this is the same game style but with X-Men characters. So call back to X-Men 97, but
hellified.
yeah.
Nice.
So, and I have not tried that. I've not jumped into that one at all either. So that's on my backlog as well. So I got a lot on my backlog. So we'll see how it goes. But
Interesting.
instead, I keep playing NBA 2K21, a game from 3 years ago, and just keep playing the same.
It's
franchise
a
over
you
look,
love it.
but I'm
Yeah.
proud of you for having the 3 you stick to. I fall into your endless trap as well, where look, I will have 2 hours of free time at the end of the night. And I'll be like, do I want to play a video game? Or maybe I could spend some time putting a ROM on my little hacked PSP, build up that classics library, and I'll spend the whole 2 hours doing that to boot a ROM that does not work.
Oh,
And then I will go to bed and think, what was it worth playing the original. What were those PS1 games with the skeleton guy, the medieval guy?
Oh,
What were
medieval.
those?
It's just medieval. Yeah.
Mike, what is it worth putting the third medieval game on your PSP for 2 hours to just go, oh, it didn't work. Excellent.
Well, it's a bummer when it doesn't work, but I mean, you're talking to the quadruple world record holder for Bushido Blade 2 on PlayStation 1, so
that's right.
I would put in the work to get it running, you know?
That's true. You're right.
I have the same problem with Colin. And the thing is, like, I'm like, I've got an hour or two of free time. Do I want to play, like, start a new narrative-heavy single-player game, or do I want to play one of the 3 multiplayer games that I can just relax and do the same thing that I've done? Well, NBA 2K, I play single-player, but I play the same game over and over, basically, against different teams throughout the season. That takes about an hour, so I can play one basketball game, or I can play a couple rounds of Fortnite, or a couple rounds of Helldivers, instead of something like Baldur's Gate 3, a game that I love that I fell off of because I'm just like, I don't have the time or energy to invest in this game right now, and I want to get back
to invest into a story. I think that's the issue, right? Yeah.
And I put a lot of time into Baldur's Gate 3, but I want to see it through at some point. I want to jump back in. I want to date Mintara. Like getting back into it. Yeah.
Right. Like there's a reason I didn't buy Final Fantasy 16 and I didn't buy Final Fantasy 7,
Dragon's Dogma 2, which is a game that looks interesting
that
I haven't played yet.
Mike, did Chris dive into Final Fantasy? Has he given you any updates at all?
He got it. I think he's not giving me tons of updates. They're busy with the babies and stuff, but so he doesn't have a ton of time for narrative either.
Past guest Chris on our Final Fantasy episode. Past guest my brother, who was not on that episode, but Evan on a couple of our Transform episodes, has been texting me. He just put 100 hours into it, Mike, and said it's a bloated mess. Where again, it's like the same thing, Jacob. Where it's like, I want to play that Final Fantasy game. I want to put a fucking 100 hours into that thing right now.
Is that 16 or the 7 Rebirth?
7 Reborn or Rebirth.
If I can get on a little soapbox for a second, the first one we said they're just chores. There's just a bunch of filler. Like in the original game, you would like grind the combat to get the story. But in this, you're grinding story to get to the combat because there's just so much dumb shit on the side, right? Sure. That you had to get out of the way. The fighting's cool, but there's so much dumb peripheral shit that you have to do. And I figured it's just going to get worse. And the real point of this hot take is I think Tetsuya Nomura is a hack fraud. Kingdom Hearts 3 is horrible. And ever since he took over, Final Fantasy's gotten worse because it's just becoming more like Kingdom Hearts, even with an unintelligible story, etc. Nomura is ruining Final Fantasy 7. That's my hot take.
So,
shout out to Cassie, who I think was on our Kingdom Hearts episode.
No, I love Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but Nomura should not be in charge of 7.
Let me ask you this: as sort of a Final Fantasy noob, it's sort of a blind spot for me. Never played Final Fantasy 7, even though I heard great things. This is sort of a sequel to the. It's a sequel to the remake, the newest that they made. This is sort of a sequel story to that with the same characters, kind of thing.
So the game PS1, it was 3 discs, right? So the whole story was 3 different discs. The first game was the first 8 hours of the PlayStation game, but it took 50 to finish. So now this is like the second segment, so the theory is we're not even going to get the third part until like PS6. It's going to take forever.
Wow. So it's still part of the original story.
It's the same story.
Game. They just added a whole bunch of extra shit. So they basically Ubisoft open worlded it.
They remade it. I mean, they made it so big.
They're just cutting it into 3 chunks. So you got the beginning of the story, now we have the middle, and then we'll get the end if they're just going to do 3 games.
They
I
added
could see them getting greedy.
A bunch of side quests and dumb bullshit.
Yeah, escort missions and fetch quests.
Kill 10 rats in this basement, that kind of shit,
Right. Interesting.
There's some mini games that are cute, but my other objection is they changed the story. It's supposed to be a remake, but at the end of the last game, they literally make you break canon so he can now not remake the game you want to play. So it's not even the same story in the original, and that's my other problem.
What part of the story did they change?
Everything. Characters are like alive that should be dead. Like they can do anything they want, and so it's like I wanted to play a remake, not Kingdom Hearts. Tetsuya, stop it! I don't want a nobody version of Cloud. Get out of here.
Right.
So anyway, I'm sorry. So when that goes on sale, I'll get it and speed run it on easy because but
I always wanted to go back and play like the original 7 just because I heard the story's so good and I like the eco-terrorism angle of it and everything.
There's a great mod. I have to look it up and send it to you, but there's like an updated mod for the PC version that makes the graphics look great. You can speed up the combat. So like if you don't want to waste too much time, like, you could just get through the story, low friction. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a pause. Oh yeah. Colin, you froze for a second. I think someone cast Shiva summon
Yeah,
on
little
you.
technical difficulties.
But you were saying something about the combat thing that you can skip?
Yeah, I think you can literally turn off random encounters.
Yeah. So you can get through the story.
Yeah,
There's very ergonomic ways to do the original, and I recommend doing that. It's one of the all-time classics. It's like reading Moby Dick. You should do it once in your life.
One day I'll get to that after I've finished my basketball franchise from 3 years ago.
Right.
I've just been on a basketball kick. Ball is life. Shout out
Ball
Caitlin
is
Clark.
life. Fair. I need it.
Been watching a lot of basketball. I should have mentioned that too, but yeah.
Yeah, well, we could get that on the wrap. I only played video games when I was young. I didn't read books, right? So Final Fantasy VII. This is just a side story, but I learned how to reading comprehension because there's a lot of big words in that game, and you have to read it all.
Sure.
And this is not a lie. I scored in the 99th percentile in the SAT for reading comprehension, and I attribute Final Fantasy VII to that
because of that, because you never read anything else. So it had to
that's
be
how
that.
I started getting reading comprehension down, because it's a very confusing plot and stuff. So that game helped me learn to read good. Thank you.
And let me ask you this: so the last thing I'll ask about Final Fantasy VII, they made a movie, right, that takes place that has the same characters, Spirits Within, or is it different?
Yeah, no, Advent Children.
Advent Children.
Yeah,
okay, we might have to have another Final Fantasy VII episode when this is all done, but we were really excited when Advent Children came out, because like, holy shit, more Final Fantasy. Look at Sephiroth, he's going crazy. And then they made the mobile games, and then the Vincent game. And I think in hindsight, we don't want any of that. We don't want this direction of we have too much Final Fantasy VII, and I think we regret Monkey's Paw, that we wanted more. You know what I mean? It was a mistake to expand on it.
As a standalone thing, and now that they're
none of the we had a PSP game, an anime, all that shit.
Yeah.
No, just the original. That's kind of where I'm at. And Final Fantasy 15, they did that. You had to play a mobile game, watch a movie before you even got the game to know if you even liked the game. There's just so much. I hate Square Enix's business model, I guess is what I'm saying. Get Helldivers. That's
Helldivers, Fortnite, NBA 2K21. That's all you need.
Help those small companies, like Fortnite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Colin, you've been playing anything though? You mentioned the mods for kind of. I don't want to steal everything.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
Colin, the only thing I'll say is we got to get you in Helldivers. You can get it on PS5. You got to squat up. You got to
I want
with us.
It's great. It's like $20 too. Yeah. Well, now I'm just kind of bummed out about Final Fantasy, but that's okay. It's okay. If I could, I would draft a different director to having run that franchise. So maybe my Final Fantasy would be winning in this little segment we're going to do next when we do our movie draft right after this.
We're back here on Normies Like Us, where we are going to do one more segment. That's right, and a new one, because it's Oscar season-ish, like we said, and we've still got Oscar fever here on Normies Like Us, which brings us to our new segment. Get
ready to get slapped like Chris Rock, because we're talking Oscars. Little post, funny. The last Oscars, but this is a new, possibly reoccurring segment that I want to do called a draft, and this one's going to be Oscar Best Picture winners. So only winners, no nominations, which I like the sort of limiting aspect, because a lot of times I don't think that the winner is the best movie of the year or even the best movie of the nominations.
No.
So it'll be interesting to see what you guys pick. But basically, we're going to do, in honor of the beautiful game, basketball, 5 picks each. You're starting 5.
Okay.
And as draft commissioner, which is a new title that I just made up for myself, I'm explaining the rules now. But how do we want to pick? Who wants to go first? Who wants to go second?
Because it is
go third.
Style.
This is snake style.
We're doing a snake. We should have made it.
So keep in mind, if you're third, you get the third and fourth pick.
Oh, you get the turn.
First comes back around to you.
Yeah, you guys have all played fantasy football. You know how it goes.
Yeah, how do we determine the seeding? Rochambeau?
That's a good question. Who wants to go for? Does anyone want to go for, or does anyone have a preference for what pick
I want to
go?
go. 3 is my favorite number, but that's a tactical advantage.
But But then if you're first, then you get, 6 and 7. So it kind of balances out.
I choose 3.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Colin, you want to go 1 or second? As the draft commissioner, I'll concede to you. You can pick first or second pick. So if you're in the middle, then you'd never get 2 in a row, but you get.
Well, how about this? How about this? You, as draft commissioner, are forced to the middle. Mike and I pick a number between a number, and whoever wins will choose first or third, I guess, right?
Window or aisle. Yeah,
Does that sound fair?
Sure.
Cool.
So I have to think of a number.
Yeah, dude. Let's say 1 through 10. Make it easy. Whoever's closest.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready. Ready?
I'll say 1.
I have 7.
Mike, you hit it exactly.
Wow.
It was 7.
Well, I'll
That's
still
insane.
take third.
Okay.
So I'll go
Colin,
first.
you'll go first.
I
You'll
had a
lead us off.
10% chance to get it.
Wow.
I'll be in the middle. Yeah. So we'll do it that way. So Colin, the first ever pick in the Best Picture Oscar winner draft by Draft Commissioner Jacob.
Wow.
Shout out to me.
Well, I like this pitch for a segment idea. I'll point out some things for that real quick. I agree with you that holding it to Best Picture nominees or winners only is very bittersweet because, again,
there's a lot of good movies that were nominated.
Best Pictures, yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's some on here that I think some of us really resonate with, though. So I was coming up with a bunch of like, if I don't get my first, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this.
Absolutely.
I've got about like 100 backups across this thing. So
Wow.
I feel like loaded for bear here, but to say like I'm going first, I'm getting my dream.
Yeah, you're getting your number 1.
Well, like, here's how it goes then. Like, number 1 pick in the draft. This is the number 1 guy. This to me is the person who deserves to be picked number 1.
The star quarterback,
I'm interested if it's what I'm thinking of, but I'm going to wait and see.
I think you're going to be able to guess. I'll say we've done an episode on this movie in the past because it's a winner in that it's the only one of this genre to.
We're having technical difficulties. Colin,
Yeah.
you froze again.
Oh,
Just for a second.
well, this is getting annoying then.
Yeah.
I think we'll be all right. I think we're good. So you're saying in this genre, only one. What do we got?
Only one in this genre. It's a horror pick. 1992's Silence of the Lambs.
Whew, nice.
Colin,
okay.
that's very, very good pick. That was on my short list. Not the one I was thinking of for first
Really?
overall. But there's one I think that Mike really wants to take. So I'm gonna.
Well, no,
so
dude,
you pick,
build your team.
Yeah. No, you pick Silence of the Lambs. Love that movie. That's a great pick, and I'm glad that it won Best Picture and got recognized.
First
we did do an
overall.
episode, of course, on it.
Mhm.
So like I said, there's one I'm thinking of that I'm gonna concede to Mike to let him pick.
Whoa.
If he pick, like, if it gets back to me with my second pick, I will take it. But I'm gonna go with a personal favorite of mine that maybe I could wait a few rounds and still get, but I don't care. I'm gonna take it anyway. And this might be recency bias because it is a newer movie, but it's probably one of my favorite movies that's ever won Best Picture. And I'm talking Parasite.
Wow.
Bong Joon-ho, the master Korean director. Parasite. Love that movie, so I'm taking Parasite.
Jeez.
We'll see if Mike takes what I'm thinking of.
Well, I get back to back, but I'm intrigued to know what you guys think I like because I don't even know what my first pick really is.
Go ahead, pencil Coda.
There's one that really
in.
stands
I know you
out
love
to me.
Coda.
Yeah.
You overlooked it in the list, or maybe didn't see it. So we'll see if it gets
The
back.
Shape of Water. No. I think I'm gonna go again, following my heart. You know, I'm drafting my ragtag. First one is definitely Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Here we are.
Is that
Mike,
the one?
Here we are.
That was the one.
Okay.
Return of the
Up
King. I'm
forward.
like,
Got
I
it.
know you're gonna see that and be like, of course I have to take Lord of the Rings.
It's a number
King
one
Kong,
seed.
Peter
I mean,
Jackson.
Yeah,
that's huge.
and that's
It's
the one I
better
thought
than
Colin
the
might
Braveheart
take.
speech, the Pelennor Fields. Come on, man.
Yeah, I definitely knew that Mike would pick it. I thought Colin might pick it, but Silence of the Lambs also a great pick. So we've got
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs, Parasite, Return of the King, and what's your second pick, Mike?
So my second pick coming back around, again, I'm trying not to burn too much time. So I'm looking at what I think is just one of the solid all-time goodest movies ever. And I'm going to take Forrest Gump with my second pick.
Wow.
Wow.
Is that bold? I don't know, but I love it.
I'll say for me, hot take maybe, not a huge fan of this movie. I don't like Forrest Gump that much.
Interesting. Well,
You can miss me with that. Go
Did I
run
ever
back
tell my
home, Forrest.
story in high school? My high school sweetheart girlfriend called me over to her house because she wanted to show me her favorite movie, and it was Forrest Gump. And she sat me down and broke up with me right before we watched it, and said she still wanted to watch the movie.
whoa. That's some Jenny energy right there, you know, because she is not a good person.
Right.
All right. Well, Jacob, it's back to you. We'll see, you know,
Yeah,
how
Forrest
this
Gump
roster goes.
was not on my short list, but I like the pick. I think it's a solid pick there. Really filling out your lineup. For me, pick number 2. Return of the King was going to be my pick if it made back to me. I knew Mike was going to take it. I'm going to go with another sort of recent one, and this is not my favorite movie by this director, but it's the only movie that this director has won an Oscar for.
Oh no!
Amazingly. So I'm going The Departed, Martin Scorsese.
Wow. Okay.
Martin Scorsese,
That's
director
solid.
I love, has only ever won one Oscar for The Departed, which is insane.
I'm not a cop.
That's right. So love The Departed, based on Infernal Affairs, the Chinese film.
Yeah, Thai, I think maybe, but don't quote me. I'll
Korean
pull it up.
movie?
Don't quote me either.
I'm pulling it up. But Colin, you're getting back to back, and this is. Oh, come on. Think. Stop it.
Japanese, Korean.
Andrew Lau. It's in Korean, Thai. I don't know, man. Where is it from? I'm sorry, but this is wasting time. Colin, if you find your picks,
I have not even seen Infernal Affairs. I'll confess that too.
Me either.
Not a big Scorsese fan, Jacob, so I'm not that worried. Who I thought you were saying, building up towards. This is my second choice because this is a Best Picture. It's not my favorite, but like you, I'm choosing to go with the guy who made it. I got to follow my heart there.
Sure.
In fact, my heart will go on. You might say.
Oh.
Bro. Look at a little. My favorite year. That's right. 1998 classic. We're going with Titanic.
Wow, that's a great pick. That's a very solid pick.
That's honestly
a little lower on my short list, but I was like, man, James Cameron, got to go with my boy JC.
No,
for
that's
sure.
Good. Colin, you have another pick.
That's right.
There's some wild stuff left on the board too. I've got a lot of backups left over that I'm going to lean towards opposed to what I actually thought might be my third round. So I'm going to go hard into a 1977 classic. I'm going Rocky.
Bro, that's on my list. Good pick. Written, directed, man, acted. One of the great stories.
That's
Adrian.
WrestleMania was in Philly. Shout out, that's a whole thing.
Of course, as we learned, that's right, WrestleMania. Shout out.
Finish the story,
as we
Cody.
learned, Sylvester Stallone won both an Oscar and a Razzie for the role of Rocky, as well as Adrian and his buddy, Mickey. That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's a thumbs down. Wow, I'm liking your roster so far, Colin. But Jacob,
yeah, you got some classics on there.
Oh, and Hong Kong is Infernal Affairs.
Hong Kong,
Chinese, basically.
Now, yeah. Please, Jacob.
I've got a couple. So far, I haven't gone with any classics yet. I've got 2 from the 2000s, Parasite and The Departed. So I am going to go with a little bit of an older one this time. And I'm going to go with a classic. And I'm going to say The Godfather Part 2.
I hate you.
Wow.
I'm going to say Part 2 because I like both of them, but I think Part 2 is a little bit better of a movie, and I'm going to go with Part 2. So I'll leave you Part 1 if you want it.
I had already written it down, so thank you for taking Part 2. My first pick is The Godfather Part 1.
Amazing.
So interesting. They're the brothers in the draft.
That's right.
Interesting team. So then I have
Francis
a second
Ford Coppola.
Pick. Yeah.
Fun fact: Francis Ford Coppola has been making this movie called Megalopolis for many years. He basically, his whole wine business, if you know, he has a whole wine select, is all to fund this movie that he's been trying to make for many years, and is now going to be coming out pretty soon.
Wait,
Release it and all that stuff. So
how soon is it coming, Jacob?
Unclear, because it's, according to studios, it is too big and experimental and weird to market. They're not sure who's gonna, he's still looking for a deal with in terms of publishing, I think. So, but he self-financed this whole thing because it was so hard to get made. So it's like his dream project that he wanted to make before he died. So should be interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that.
I've never seen The Godfather.
You never have.
Wow. Huh.
What about The Godfather Part 2?
I've never seen The Godfather Part 2.
What about The Godfather Part 3?
I've never seen The Godfather Part 3. I've seen Jane Austen's Mafia, the parody of those films.
So, man,
Wow,
you really...
There's a blind spot for you.
That Barbie joke
Final
about...
Fantasy for me.
Yeah, dudes explaining...
That's
The
right.
Godfather.
I don't get the Ken joke, Mike.
That one went over your head.
Well, part 1 is great. You had Pacino and Marlon Brando, of course. And then in Part 2... you have Robert De Niro playing the young version of
Hey, but what if I was
Marlon Brando character? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, geez. This is hard because I only get... This is my second to last pick. And there's so many classics still. But it's like, what do I like? What do I
Green
like?
Book, Crash, all our favorites are
Oh,
still
my
on
Coda.
gosh.
I keep pushing Coda.
Jeez. Okay. I don't want to spend too much time, but we're going through. Oh, man. I wish I could have had that one.
Like, are any of these your guys' favorite movies? No, right?
No, not really. Rocky is one of my favorite movies.
I like
Parasite too, yeah. Lord of the Rings. I think all of our first round picks are favorites.
Yeah.
I like Forrest Gump. I just think it's strong for a team. That being said, to round out my team, what do I got going here? I got drama, I got another drama, and I got a fantasy. I'm gonna do... Yeah, I like Blade Runner, Ridley Scott. Give me The Gladiator, Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix. That's fun. I like that movie.
My boy Ridley Scott.
Pick. Still on the board, Mike. That was a great pickup this late.
That was good.
That was another one where I'm like,
comes back around.
I love the director, but I'm like, Gladiator not my favorite Ridley Scott movie, of course. So interesting.
No, but I just think I
a good
like
pick,
it,
though.
and it feels like a spot on my roster that I was missing.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before.
What?
Well, with Pedro Pascal and some other people, so that'll be interesting
if it gets released.
Yeah. So Mike has Lord of the Rings, Forrest Gump, Godfather, Gladiator, and it's back to
Jacob. Yes.
Now I'm looking on my short list here. A lot of movies getting taken.
I already know mine, and I know it's safe.
Interesting. I'm gonna go with a movie, another older one, another classic to me, and maybe this might not be on your guys' list, but I do like this movie a lot. I'm talking Platoon.
Hey,
wow,
Platoon. Oliver
That's
Stone.
a wild. I would not have thought you'd pick that. That's interesting.
It's other than Apocalypse Now, I think it's like the iconic Vietnam War movie. If you ever see anything parroting a Vietnam War movie, it's either Apocalypse Now or this movie probably. But Platoon, great cast, great ensemble cast, and it's a good movie. So I'm going Platoon.
Little robot Vietnam,
Yeah, Malevolon Creek.
Yep. 1 second. All right.
So we go back to Colin for 2 picks.
Do you like what's his name who directed that? The guy who did JFK and
Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
Do you like Oliver Stone movies?
He's pretty hit or miss, but I like JFK is a great movie. If that was nominated, I would have picked that, or if that won, I would have picked that.
Yeah.
But that didn't win Best Picture, so but he's definitely an interesting guy.
Let's talk about that phenomenon for a minute, because I was like, okay, well, Mike's first pick will be Fury Road, because I'm like, of course, Fury Road won Best Picture, and then you look it up and you're like, it didn't.
It's a sin.
It should have.
What won that year? I'll pull it up.
Was that The Shape of Water year, maybe?
Oh, I hope not.
Or no, that's the Green Book year.
Oh,
Obviously,
Cars.
much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was Spotlight. That was Spotlight.
Oh, that was
So
the
you had
Spotlight year.
Spotlight, The Big Short, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Room, Bridge of Spies, and
No,
Bro.
Bridge of Spies. No, it should have been Fury Road.
Dude, yeah, just
should have been
Kraft,
Fury Road
come on.
or The Revenant.
That's a movie that requires you could have it muted. Like it doesn't need dialogue. It's pure show don't tell. It's craft. I don't whatever.
100%.
Yeah. Hey, well now we get the new one coming soon. But Colin, you got your snake draft. You're gonna get fourth and your final pick to round out your team
This is
here.
I finish up here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got Silence of the Lambs, which is my favorite. I got my masterpiece locked in. I've got Titanic, which I feel good about, and
Critical
Rocky.
Darling.
Yeah, I feel good about those. Again, neither of those are really my favorite. I'm gonna go hard into my favorite genre. I gotta go a little Clint Eastwood, baby. I'm talking a 1993's Unforgiven. We're talking a Western
Colin.
masterpiece. Yes.
That's amazing because my last pick, I was trying to decide between Platoon or Unforgiven. That was the other one that I was thinking about taking. So
to me, you
Good
chose
job.
wrong, dog. I've never seen Platoon, so I can't compare them.
Yeah.
But Unforgiven is the greatest.
I
Come
prefer
on.
Hot
Unforgiven's
Shots
great.
too.
For sure.
So
Last pick.
here's the thing. I don't think we do a most valuable loser because I'm kind of going to use that for my fifth pick.
What?
And by saying that, like, I'm happy with the genre that I have. I've got 4 films I like. Here's what I'm doing with my last one. I'm doing Best Picture Oscar bait. If Best Picture is like a genre of film, right? Then I think you have your King's Speeches, you know, your movies that are like tailored to like, what was the point of that film? It was to try to win motherfucking Best Picture, right?
Yes.
Right.
So I gotta lean into that. I'm going with a movie, again, I don't love, but my roots and my heart are there. 5th round pick, totally safe. None of you guys are gonna choose this. I should say.
Fair.
I'm going with 1989's Rain Man.
Wow.
A movie
Wow.
that stars a little autistic guy named Dustin Hoffman, and I
Tom
don't
Cruise.
love that side of it. I love the weird autistic guy that actually stars in it, Tom Cruise, who is, of course, the most problematic human being who exists. But
Sure.
also, to remind you guys, that film takes place in Cincinnati, Ohio, my hometown. So I gotta follow my heart there. I'm going Rain Man, a beautiful movie in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, we're counting
And I'm
cards
done.
and you're
That's my
counting on
5.
them to round out your team. Nice.
Yes.
I
That's a
respect
great
it.
pick.
They're riding the bench, Mike. They're not coming off to kill a lot of hours, but they're there. They do get the ring when we win.
Fair.
Sure.
Yes. No. So yeah, your 5th pick, Jacob.
On my last pick, now a lot of the ones on my short list have been taken by other people. Unforgiven, like I said, it was between Unforgiven and Platoon. Maybe I should have gone Unforgiven there.
You fucked up, Doug.
I could've
You
taken
fucked up,
Platoon as my
Major.
last pick.
You
I
basically
did.
lost the draft with that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow, I might have. But I'm feeling good about my first 4. And for my last one, I'm gonna go in the spirit of this is a real Oscar movie. Not my favorite movie, by this director, but I think a very good movie. And it's about a topic that I maybe already talked about a little bit earlier. It's a very different kind of movie addressing the same topic, but I'm talking about Schindler's List.
Oh wow.
List.
Yeah.
The quintessential Holocaust movie, I would say.
You
Steven
got this.
Spielberg.
You got a Spielberg masterpiece as your 5th round pick. That's maybe
right.
the greatest pickup in this entire draft.
The
Yeah.
steal of the draft, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's really good. I feel like in hindsight, Forrest Gump was certainly a reach, and I wish I had Schindler's List on my roster right now. So
Forrest Gump is another one that's a very Oscar-ish movie. I just personally
is.
am not a huge fan of that movie, but I understand. It's a good pick. I think.
It's
Fair.
groundbreaking.
It's the Odyssey.
It's a
and
huge movie.
The filmmaking is crazy. The special
Yes.
effects are nuts, bro. It's way more
Yes.
technical. I think that's why I like it from
Yeah.
the technical aspect. The story's mid, and Jenny's a bad person. Anyway.
Yeah, but Schindler's List. I mean,
Yeah.
what can I say
Come
about
on.
this movie?
Come on.
It's it's great, but it's a very sad movie, of course.
Masterpiece.
We got Qui-Gon Jinn and Voldemort in there.
Mm-hmm.
To put it in, how we're talking about
Normie
earlier.
parlance.
Yeah, the menu.
Voldemort's trying to kill Qui-Gon Jinn.
Keep seeing this little red girl.
Voldemort's trying to kill all the muggles.
Yeah.
It's not dissimilar to the plot of Harry Potter and Voldemort.
No. I think Voldemort was sort of inspired by the Nazis. So
Spielberg really came out this year and said though that he thought Zone of Interest was the best film about the Holocaust since Schindler's List, right? I mean, he truly said that, like, I'll give you your flowers. That's great.
Absolutely.
So, sort of how I said, like, you should play Final Fantasy at some point. It's starting to feel like Zone of Interest is a movie people need to watch once, like as a homework, along with Schindler's List and a lot of the ones that we've picked for our teams.
Yeah, it's not a fun watch.
Sometimes life isn't fun.
An important movie.
And you need
the
other
one I was schools.
Yeah, and the other one, I don't think you're going to pick this, Mike. So I'm just going to say the other one.
Yeah, no, I guarantee I'm safe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is another one that's like, it's not a fun movie, but it's an important movie dealing with a different subject, and that's 12 Years a Slave, which I think is a really good movie. So yeah, that was my alternate. That's my
I guess we could shout out an alt, but my fifth pick, like, this was the first one that came to mind even before, like, I knew I wanted this player on my team before even Lord of the Rings. Like, I knew this was going to happen, and I knew I would get it 100%. So this is out of left field.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, the pick is in, and the pick is It Happened One Night, 1939.
Wow.
Claudette Colbert and Clark Gable. It's my favorite rom-com of all time. The Walls of Jericho coming down. It's the formula of they don't like each other, and
yeah. It's a little behind the scenes look at this podcast, normies. Back when we were doing our Valentine's Day episode, one idea that you did float out was covering this movie. It Happened One Night.
That's so true.
I don't know why I have an affinity for it, but I just think it's so charming. You got like the leg to get, like, to get traffic. You have that bit to get the hitchhiker thing, and it's like the
Walls of Jericho. Now, Colin and I think, Colin, you were in this class as well. In film school, we took a romantic comedy class. It was just an entire class about the romantic comedies of the 30s and 40s, specifically in 50s, I think. Getting into the Rock Hudson, Doris Day era, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of the movies that we watched. It's a big, it's a big one in terms of defining the genre of romantic comedy. So yeah, 1934.
That's 34. That's right.
I think
that's why I picked it. It's the prototype, and I think as we kind of look at the balance of our teams here, I think it's playing an important role, at least the way I look at my team being structured, having something from the studio era, and we had a lot of modern ones, but I wanted to get at least one.
Well, it's definitely the oldest movie that any of us picked.
Yeah, Mike with the oldest Best Picture winner. That's respect for that.
One, and I didn't want a Clark Gable Gone with the Wind because I don't like that.
Right.
Clark, yes, Gone with the Wind.
No,
never seen it.
But It Happened One Night.
There's one older movie that I wanted to pick, and then I realized it didn't win Best Picture. And I mentioned How Green Was My Valley, which is the movie that won that year. Citizen Kane did not win Best Picture. How Green Was My Valley?
I didn't know that. That's funny.
Won instead. But so I was not able to pick Citizen Kane. That was going to be my my old pick.
I don't even think there's probably some sitting out here that I could throw a dart at, but I'm pretty happy. I think I would only swap Forrest Gump maybe, but we'll stick with it. I had thoughts of Slumdog Millionaire just because I like that movie a lot.
Sure.
I don't know if it's the best player for my team, but I like it. And then I also thought of a Beautiful Mind, another Russell Crowe throw out, but that's not, you can't have two Russell Crowes on the team.
Every backup I wrote down, we grabbed except for Casablanca. I'm kind of surprised that and Lawrence of Arabia. Nobody walked away with
Arabia,
two real classics. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one,
I haven't seen Lawrence of Arabia, so
I've never seen Casablanca. So yeah,
I've seen both.
Oh, there we go.
Are they good?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Casablanca, honestly, it holds up. It's actually a really good movie. Of course, it has a ton of famous quotes that still.
Well, you have that "Play It Again, Sam" tattoo on your butt. Yeah, we do know that about you.
We'll always have Paris. It's the beginning of a beautiful friendship, et cetera, et cetera. The one alt that I didn't make, other than 12 Years a Slave, another recent one that was on my short list, I'm surprised no one picked, which was No Country for Old Men.
Right.
I thought about Javier Bardem too for a second.
Yeah. And I would have picked it, but I thought I didn't want to make my list too recency based. But let me read off all the
There Will Be Blood pilled, Jacob, that I feel like I would betray
another great movie.
I picked that as Best Picture.
That's the thing is I like both those
Nest, dog.
2007 was a very strong year for movies. But let me read the results here. So we have Colin's team is Silence of the Lambs, Titanic, Rocky, Unforgiven, and Rain Man. Pretty solid list.
That is
the Titanic,
Rocky.
That's
the winner.
the core right there of your team.
Yeah.
Titanic.
You know what? Let's
strong.
not read the rest. Let's just ground it right there.
For
Jacob.
me, my list is Parasite, The Departed, Godfather Part 2, Platoon, and Schindler's List.
Wow.
Pretty solid team there, I think.
Not
Pretty
bad,
happy
yep.
with it. And then for Mike, we have Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, Forrest Gump, Godfather Part 1, Gladiator, and It Happened One Night.
What
So
a
those are
lineup.
our lineups. Yeah.
The ones I
what's the
might want
balance?
to
Yeah.
watch the most, like if I was doing a film festival, it might be Mike's. Like I might get the most
Wow.
pleasure to sit down and be like, I'm doing a Lord of the Rings marathon that fucking ends with
Gladiator.
with
Yeah.
Gladiator.
Godfather,
Like, that
Forrest
sounds
Gump's
great.
one-ish. Yeah, I was kind of playing
Yeah.
it like that, you know. Yeah, but how do you feel about your roster structure looking back, everybody? Because I have like Return of the King is a big fantasy epic, special, you know, Peter Jackson, and then Forrest Gump's just like a good drama, but also technical. I guess I had that Godfather, criminal, like they all kind of have different vibes, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Rom-com action with Gladiator, like a real serious drama, and then like a feel-good story, and then like a big epic. That's kind of where I'm at. Just like 5 different
I
areas
like
of the
that.
court.
Would Silence of the Lambs have gone early, or did I blow it by going with that pick? Did
No,
you
that
guys
was on my
have it
that
as
was
a hot?
at the top
Okay.
of my short list. That was definitely
Yeah.
one that I
Alright.
wanted.
I'm happy
But I
to
wanted
hear that.
I mean Parasite,
I love that
even
movie.
though I didn't think anyone else would pick it necessarily, but I was like, Parasite. I just love that movie.
Locked
It's so
in.
good.
Yeah. And I've got 2 recent ones, Parasite and The Departed. I've got 2 war movies, Platoon and Schindler's List. I've got Godfather Part 2. So I've got a couple epics in there that I think are good. And
Yeah.
I think it's a solid. If you watched all 5 of those movies, I think you'd have a good time until
Yeah,
the
I
end
mean-
when you watch 3 hours of Schindler's List. And you're
I think
like,
I'm
depressed.
lucky that I've got Jodie Foster in there. Otherwise, I think I go a little too masculine heavy. I've literally got 2 slow-witted brothers, you know, driving around in a car. That's one of
Oh yeah, I didn't think of
Fair.
that. My list is pretty masculine. Parasite.
Yeah, mine too.
There's some female characters, some good female
Yeah.
characters, but other than that, it's pretty. I mean, you got. Yeah, all those are pretty man heavy.
Mike's got a
Yeah.
rom-com.
I got a rom-com
That's
at
right.
least. And, you know, Lord of the Rings
I'm
is famous
surprised,
for having its 2 females talking together. That's never, it's like one scene,
Sure,
one
right.
interaction.
Yeah.
It's all dudes. So that's,
The one I
she's
mentioned,
no
I was-
man
I
and she
was-
kills the Witch King, okay? It's feminist. It's a feminist
End up as a
masterpiece.
gay guy. That's what you're writing on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's
exactly.
like Platoon. I don't think there's a single female character in there.
No.
Schindler's
Well,
List,
there's a prostitute.
Godfather 2.
Yeah. Who gets violated.
Departed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got Vera Farmiga in The Departed. Okay.
That's
Um,
true.
The
Yeah.
one I'm surprised that no one took, especially Mike, or I think you like this movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. No one picked that one, more recent one as well.
Very recent.
Also
True.
Oppenheimer. No one picked Oppenheimer.
I didn't want to have too much of a recency bias. Again, I did try to span like what 2000s, 90s, 70s. Yeah, I'm kind of like a decent gradient, I think, of eras.
But it's hard to feel strong about a movie you've probably only seen once or twice, Jacob. Like I've seen
Yeah.
Oppenheimer once. I'm not gonna be like, I have to lock in Oppenheimer. Like, oh my god. Like, no. I've seen, you know, fucking Silence of the Lambs 30 times, maybe.
Yeah,
you
these
know? It's
all
like,
movies you've seen more than once. Mine
at
are.
least.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if I've seen Parasite. I've seen Parasite twice, I think. It's newer, so yeah, I'll definitely watch it again in the future.
I don't know who has the strongest roster. It really is hard. They're all good lists.
Hard to say. I mean, it's subjective. I think we all did a good job.
Yeah.
But Normies, write in and tell us which roster you rocking with.
What's your team name?
Yeah. Good question.
Well, what team you're rocking with? You're choosing Rocky Balboa, so obviously I'm going Team Rocky.
Oh, nice. The Rockies. Yeah, the Colorado Rockies. Mine's a Forrest Godfather.
There you go.
I like that we split up the Godfathers.
A Return of the Godfather, I think, is a better team name.
Return of the Godfather.
That's the brothers
I
in the
don't know,
draft. We don't know who the better prospect is, but
the Schindler's Godfather. I don't
there.
know.
I'm excited for Jacob to do an asterisk, and we have to redo this in a year when Dune Part 2 wins Best Picture, and you're
Part
like,
2, it's the best
number
movie.
1, Dune Part 2.
You know what we should
Automatically
do
it's the top
for
of the list. Yeah.
the start of next week's episode? Look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores and see who has the highest average.
Oh,
Right?
that's funny.
That's
Yeah,
a good
that's
idea.
interesting.
Because
Yeah.
The Godfather Part 2 has 96 and 97, and Godfather Part 1
Godfather doesn't have
I'm sure
100.
all of these are probably in the 90s.
1%. Well, that's what I'm saying. But how do you determine a winner? But they're
Should
within
all be
1
100.
percentage. They should be.
Right.
But anyway, that's an interesting metric. But I
Conventional
think we got
wisdom,
good
I mean,
teams.
whether you lean Godfather 1 or Godfather 2, which one do you prefer? It's always a good question. Colin, you haven't seen them, but a lot of people will put 1 over 2, but I actually think 2, looking back, and maybe it's time for a rewatch for me because I haven't seen them in a while, but I just think
Same.
the way 2 is structured is so interesting because it cuts between the past featuring Robert De Niro and the present featuring
and the old
Pacino.
country. Yeah, that's good. But the first one is they make an offer you can't refuse and come to my daughter's wedding.
First one is
There's a lot of iconic stuff. But again, it's like I like Blade Runner 2049 more than the original. Like whatever, and you like Godfather too. So it's fine. So interesting.
Blade
Never
Runner
seen
was the best
Godfather.
picture. I would have picked it, but
Never seen Sopranos. I don't like mob stuff. I don't particularly love Scorsese. I don't love Departed, even though it's not mob stuff. But Jacob, of
I'm
course,
disappointed in you.
you do have the funniest movie on our list because that does include the scene where Jack Nicholson pretends to have a dildo as a penis that he scares with Matt Damon and that adult.
Yes.
It's the funniest scene in a movie
Jack
ever.
Nicholson is incredible in that movie, and
He's great. He's incredible.
it is. I do think like Departed is a great movie. It's just not my top Scorsese because he made so many good movies.
Right.
But I mean, it's got a killer cast. I mean, you got DiCaprio versus Damon. You got Say Hi to Your Mother for Me, Mark Wahlberg in a
Hell
supporting
yeah.
role.
I mean, Jacob, I remember, we were in high school when that thing came out, and I remember people talking like, well, he should retire now. He finally did it.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
made
this is essentially was
10
his
more movies.
his career achievement award. Basically, they're like, we're sorry that we snubbed you for all those earlier movies that you made.
Taxi Driver's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, since then, like I said on a different episode, I think he's had one of his strongest runs in the last couple of years with Killers of the Flower Moon, Wolf of Wall Street, Silence.
I love
Irishman.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
I gotta watch Silence because we're doing Shogun.
Yeah.
So
we've been saying.
I just want to look at my list. I got Peter Jackson as the director, Robert Zemeckis. I got Francis Ford Coppola, Ridley Scott, and Frank Capra.
That's pretty killer. Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
That's
I've
fair.
got Bong Joon-ho, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, Oliver Stone, Steven Spielberg. Platoon might be the weak point of my roster, but I stand by it because I like that movie. And also, if Apocalypse Now was Best Picture, I would have taken that. But
but Schindler's List is so strong, and I think Robert Zemeckis is weak for me because, I don't know.
Oliver Stone, he's a bit of a he's a bit of a nut job. He's a conspiracy theorist, but I love him.
JFK.
You guys trying to act like you got the best directors on your list when I've got Sly Stallone on my list. I got Jonathan Demme. I got James Cameron. You guys fucking eat.
Wait, who directed Rain Man?
James Cameron's king of the sequels, baby.
It's the guy who fucking. Is it the guy who wrote fucking Star Wars? Is it the guy who invented Han Solo? Basically,
Barry
is it Lawrence
Levinson.
Kasdan? Oh, it's Barry Levinson, not Lawrence Kasdan. It's Barry Levinson.
And Clint Eastwood.
He did Diner.
Come on.
Yeah, and Clint Eastwood, of course. If I'm still directing or alive at 94 years old or whatever he is right now, like, God bless. Come on.
It just makes me sad that so many of these master directors are probably going to die soon, like Clint Eastwood, Scorsese.
Clint Eastwood should die soon. He needs to lay down and die soon.
Well, at least we got our Denis Villeneuve to take its place. Well, all right. I think I have really strong directors. I'm proud of this. Listeners, you tell us who you think wins. But
and again, Bong Joon-ho, Snowpiercer connection from earlier. So
Wonka, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, watch Snowpiercer.
Absolutely. This is cool.
And it's been a fun segment. I think this could be reoccurring. That we could do maybe next Whatcha or something. We could do comic book movies or anything else.
Horror during Halloween. That's a very fun one. I hope you guys like this, listeners. And if you did, write in and tell us who would be on your team.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're Colin, you're an idiot for picking
soldiers.
Whoever.
Bridge of the River Kwai.
Bridge of Spies.
Is that Toshiro Mifune?
I don't know.
I can't remember if he's in that. It's Harrison Ford.
No, the
Bridge over
John Wayne.
River Kwai.
Yeah. John Wayne's in the Bridge over River Kwai.
The old one. Is he? Oh God, 1957.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think Harrison Ford's in this.
Oh, it's not. Oh, I'm thinking of Force 10 from Navarone. I'll be honest with you guys. A lot of those Man on the Mission World War II movies, they just fucking circle around in my brain up here.
Yeah, Bridge Over
Yeah.
Wire was 1957. David Lean, who also did
Lawrence
Lawrence of Arabia. Yep.
Nice.
So, anyways, Normies, we like to talk movies. We're a bit of a cinephile podcast, if you will.
Right.
Yes.
But
right.
yeah, write in. Tell us your favorites. Tell us what your lineup would be. Tell us whose lineup you liked best of the three of us. And of course, obviously, it's going to be me. But if you have to throw a bone to one of these other guys, that's okay too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Catch you on the other side. That was fun. I think the director spread, but you got Spielberg. Yeah, Oliver Stone's your week one. Robert Zemeckis is my week one. Having
just would've
Stallone
gone-
write direct that whole thing.
You
that,
blew it. Dark One too.
If I would have gone Unforgiven over Platoon, that would've
My guy's reaction was like, okay.
You haven't seen Platoon though.
I haven't
Yeah,
either.
I don't care. Tom
Charlie
Berenger
Sheen?
is the actor you're behind. Yeah, Charlie Sheen.
Willem Dafoe
Great.
shot is like a Jesus pose. It's great.
I remember.
You don't
Yeah.
understand. You're not a
Sorry.
stonehead like me.
You're not a
Oliver
stoner.
Stonehead.
Yeah. No.
That's right.
All right. Well,
Not
we're
a true
back.
stoner.
No,
We're
wrapping
back.
it up.
We're back here at Normies Like Us. We were wrapping up talking about our favorite directors there. We're thinking and looking ahead, right? So those were some
Yeah.
great recommendations, but April is going to continue. We're going to be talking about, I mean, none of us got to pick a Planet of the Apes film didn't win Best Picture. Is that what you guys
hard
are
to
trying
believe.
to
Yeah.
tell me?
Shocking. Yeah.
Tim Burton's version didn't win.
None of the Transformers did
Hey.
either.
Say hi to you monkey for me.
Here's yeah. It's really April for real because we did Godzilla and Monkey, and then I wanted to watch Dev Patel's Monkey Man this weekend, but I didn't have time. I really wanted to
Yes.
have that for the
That's in
Whatcha.
theaters now.
And then we're
Monkey
getting
Man.
Monkey Empire. Yeah. So Kingdom, I guess. Yeah. So get ready for April. That'll be fun.
I am excited to see Monkey Man, the Indian John Wick. I don't want to simplify it to just be the Indian John Wick because it's more
It
than
seems
that.
like that's how he wants to sell it.
But
So,
we
yeah.
should, go
fine with
support
that.
it though. It's his directorial debut. It almost didn't get released till Jordan
Yeah.
Peele stepped in and was like, "Yo, release
And
it."
unfortunately, I don't think it's doing super well in theaters, so maybe go see it. But I mean, it made
No.
its budget back because it wasn't
Yeah.
super expensive to make. But definitely support, smaller budget movies for sure.
People are gonna go to that Civil War thing, Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
Alex Garland.
Mm.
Supposedly, okay, here's the thing. The trailer, I wasn't into it. It's getting good reviews now. It's getting
Getting
like
great reviews,
90,
yeah.
90 something on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm a huge Alex Garland fan. Ex Machina, Annihilation. You guys remember I loved Annihilation.
Mm-hmm.
His
finally
last
watched
one,
that.
Men
Oh,
sort
can
of
I
didn't
say
work for
something
me.
real quick?
Yeah.
I was because as I said earlier, I was clicking around on the letterbox of Shogun. Cosmo Jarvis was in Annihilation. Now, Jacob, that's not a movie with a lot of men in it. Where is
No.
Cosmo
Mm-mm.
Jarvis in that movie?
He must have been sort of a minor character. I remember Oscar Isaac in the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Natalie Portman.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but that was what a
Yeah.
find. In my mind, I was like, he was in Annihilation.
Whoa.
It's a good find. That's a good find.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ex Machina, I mean, come on. Great movie. Alex Garland,
Mhm.
great screenwriter turned director, who
Dread,
now
baby.
is saying he wants to retire as a director because he's just over it. And he's like, it's just too much, man. It's too much. It's too hard.
Did you see Men, Jacob?
Well, that's what I was saying. Men, this last movie didn't work for me. So he sort of had a fall off. So I'm like, Men, not great. Civil War doesn't look great. But those other two were great. So I don't know if he's fallen off as a director, but it seems like he just wants to go back to writing and having other people direct his screenplays, maybe. And of course, he had a great run with like Sunshine and Dread, right? He wrote Dread.
Does he get to write 28 years later or whatever it's going to be called?
Maybe. Is Cillian Murphy going to be in that too?
Supposedly they announced like yesterday him and Danny are back. So
That'll be interesting. I mean, 28 months later, I don't remember too much about that, but I don't know if I liked it that much.
I don't think I saw that one.
it's got a
Yeah.
wild cast. You guys remember the cast? Fucking Hawkeye, fucking Idris Elba. Like
Whoa.
before they were all
Before they
famous.
were big stars, yeah.
Dang.
No.
No, Idris Elba. No, I mean Hawkeye. I saw in what is it?
Hurt
We're
Locker.
talking to
No one-
aliens.
which no one picked, the Hurt Locker, of course.
Yeah,
It's not my favorite Catherine
I've
Bigelow
only seen it
movie.
once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arrival
Cosmo was
was-
in Ridley Scott's Raised by Wolves TV show. Just I didn't realize that either. He's a chameleon. But tangentially, wow, what a 290 though,
What
right?
an
I guess to bring it
episode,
around.
yeah,
This has been
290.
290.
yeah. I'm impressed. So, I have things to watch now. I have a list. I got to look at what I haven't seen from you guys' lists and stuff like that, and give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And normies, if there's anything we're missing, like new movies or other movies that we should see that we've never mentioned, let us know, because I always love discovering new movies that I might like.
Mm-hmm. And get your
I
jumpsuit
just-
while supplies last.
I gotta buy a jumpsuit, and I just gotta spend the $20 on Helldivers. That's all I'm taking away.
You got to dive into hell with us. Hit the creek, you know.
If it ends up that I missed the Terminators, like the war stories when I start playing with you guys, where you're like, well, the bugs are one
went there
thing,
at the
but when
creek.
we were killing Terminators.
Right.
I'll be like, what? Shut up, old man.
No, yeah.
I can't imagine that they won't bring the robots back, because it's still a game. You know, they're going to bring back this faction. Like, I think it's just for the role playing of it that they're
my
coming.
God.
And for all we know, Super Earth, you know, I would never say this, but they could just be saying we wipe them out. You know, I don't control the media here. I would never say that because I'm not a traitor.
Cut Mike's feed.
Yeah.
Sounds like some traitorous talk there.
But yeah, they're constantly adding new enemies. They'll evolve. The robots will come back. But I was there when we freed Tianquan, and never forget those we lost in the creek.
Wow.
You don't forget to like and subscribe, you know. But having those stories,
eagles on
cool.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
we love
right.
it. I want to play some
Love it.
Helldivers right now. So
I'm gonna free Hellmeyer. I'm not kidding. We're
yeah.
1 hour away. 173 Helldivers working together to spread freedom as we record.
Wow.
Anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode.
God bless America.
God bless
For Super Earth.
God
My
bless
life
Super Earth.
for Super Earth. Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, we've been your normies.
Yeah. Yes, you are. You're right. You rate, review,
We're your
subscribe.
normies.
We like when you do that. 290. We know how to do these. Check us out on YouTube. Helps us out a lot. Keep writing in. Like we said, I mean, we've been pitching a bunch of episodes we got coming up, but of course, hit us up at our email and say, hey, I would love if you talked about, you know, X, Y, and Z. No, I did like Invincible season 2. I demand you guys talk about it.
Mhm.
Hey, if you show interest, we will. So, you know, hit us up there. It means a lot to us. Otherwise, thank you for 290.
Platoon was a good pick. That's what they're all saying.
He didn't blow it.
Maybe I'll watch Platoon and figure out if it's a good pick or not.
I'm excited for the text 2 hours from now where Mike and I are like, actually, Platoon is good.
Yeah, or when I've calculated the Rotten Tomatoes and be like, technically.
Yeah. You squeaked out a win there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe not as good as Unforgiven. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up.
The Temmit classic. Again, a cap off of basically saying to an old man, well, you're done. You'll be done. You know, we'll give you this
That
as
was
like
sort of his
tribute. And then he
career.
did 40 more movies.
For next 30 years. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I watched that Macho whatever movie with the chicken in Mexico.
Well, he's 60.
The
He can't
Mule?
live that much longer.
No, it's worse than that.
Newsflash. He can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably dead the minute this publishes. Please don't let that be true. Knock on wood.
Talking to
But
a chair.
thank you for 290. If you've been listening since day one, who are you? We'd love to know.
Wow.
But if you
Yeah.
jumped in, we love that too. So thank you
We
so
love you.
much.
Mhm.
That's right.
Te amo. All right,
Te
we're
amo.
your hosts.
We've been your hosts. Yeah, this is Colin.
This is Democracy Officer Mike.
And this is Platoon Jacob.
All right.
Let's go. We ride for
Take those
Platoon.
capes
The
off.
level on Creek.
Platoon,
No,
a very Helldivers experience.
Yeah, I should do that. Yeah.
That's
It
right.
happened. Yeah.
Take
We'll
back
see.
the creek.
Yeah, just
Absolutely.
meat in the grinder, baby.
Neat for the
Thanks,
grinder.
normies.
Come on, you apes want to live forever. Bye.
We love you.
All right.